going on, guys? Welcome back to another edition of the evolution of Sports Talk Television after your Tampa Bay Buccaneers defeat the New Orleans Saints 51-27. How do we start off this show as the Bucs move to 4-2? As like I said, they defeated the Saints. Right? A lot of Bucs fans out there looking at halftime. But how do we start it off? Let's go ahead and do it. Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. And it was definitely nonsense there for a little bit. Not gonna lie to you. Up and down game. Bucs get off to a great start, 17-0. Baker comes out firing. Quick 2 touchdowns there. Chris Godwin, Mike Evans in on that in that first drive. 6 for 6 for Baker. In fact, Mayfield starts out 9 for 9. He is baking at that point. And then, welcome back to Antoine Winfield Jr. with a 58-yard fumble recovery, which, by the way, Tyke Smith had a hell of a game today. I mean, that rookie has got some big things in front of him, does he not? Remember a couple months ago when he was in training camp and I was talking to him, saying, who do you emulate? And he said, Antoine Winfield Jr. He looked a lot like Winfield Jr. today, didn't he? Causing the fumble there, having an interception. So the Bucs are on the board 14-0. They get stalled out 17-0. And then the second quarter happened where the Saints scored 20 unanswered points. I will take your phone calls as always on this show, but as always, I will say this. I'm going to set the table. You come to eat. So we'll hold off on the phone calls right now. It would be easy for this team being down 27-24 with Baker Mayfield with 3 interceptions in that second quarter alone. One of those was his fault. The other 2, not so much. Coming into the game, you only have 4 interceptions and 4 turnovers in 5 games. So very uncharacteristic of this Tampa Bay Buccaneer team, was it not? A lot of Bucs fans freaking out, blown coverages, but this is what you have here with a Todd Bowles-led team, a veteran-laden team with lots of great young talent. It would have been easy for this team to go into the second half with their heads down. And let's face it, in the Tampa Bay area here the last 10 days, it's been crazy. Has it not? With the 2 hurricanes, with all the distractions, with the defense blowing the lead versus the Atlanta Falcons, it would have been easy for this team to tuck tail and go home and lose to the Saints. But guess what? As my good friend TJ Reeves of the Buccaneer Radio Network says, they made the adjustments, and when they needed to run the ball, they ran it down the Saints' throats in tune of 277 yards of rushing offense.
It's exciting!
This offense is scary. Talk about all the penalties you want to, because we can definitely talk about that. Talk about the turnovers in this game. 6 total turnovers by both teams. But this team in the second half, they showed you why still in the NFC South, it runs through Tampa. Now you can call the phone line. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Somebody said Sean Taylor. It's Sean Tucker. 14 carries, 136 yards, 1 touchdown. Bucky Irving. 14 carries, 81 yards, 1 touchdown. So, let's go out to Mr. J.P. Peterson of the J.P. Peterson Show after the Buccaneers just show you. They just show you, look, again, it would have been easy for this team. And again, it would have been easy for this team to collapse. And I think it shows not only, what their mindset is, what their attitude is, everything like that. You could have easily lost this game, but you made the second half adjustments, criticized in the first half. You run the ball behind Tucker and Urban, JP, welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television.
What's up, Peter? What a game! What a terrific football game! I mean, these last 2 weeks, if you're a Bucs fan, oh my God! I mean, you want to talk about exciting football? Yes, they lost to the Falcons. Everybody's pissed about that. And even, it's funny. I'm hitting. People are hitting me up on Twitter at halftime and like, Bowles' job is on the line, and I just didn't feel this sense of doom. I was like, you know what? The Bucs have given up a couple unlucky turnovers. Baker had a couple of tip balls. Like, they're running the football. The defense is playing well. I mean, of course, New Orleans got a couple shots here. Rattler got off to a pretty good start. But I'm like, let's wait for the second half adjustments and see what happens. Now, listen, I know Bowles has not been great at second half adjustments. We didn't see it against Bo Nix. It continued that soft coverage. But I hope in some ways we've turned a corner here, because he came at Spencer Rattler in that second half with a lot of exotic blitzes that were finally getting home. I mean, they blitzed Bo Nix at times, but they weren't very effective blitzes, and they didn't combine it with tight coverage. They combined it with off coverage, which is an easy blitz beater. Just just take 3 steps, turn around, throw the ball, easy. This time they went man, and they stuck with the receivers, and the fact that Olave went out early was something that helped them. But man, so I thought the defense played well. I know they gave up 27 points, but one was obviously a special teams touchdown. But you get takeaways, man. That's the thing. You get those takeaways. That's a huge part of this game. You'll give up yards all day long if you can get sacks and takeaways. Sacks kill drives. Takeaways obviously kill drives. They had 5 sacks today. Kalijah Cansey had 2 tackles for loss and a sack. I mean, that guy was all over the field, and he was getting held all day long. There was a lot of holding going on, especially on that punt return.
Right.
But yes. I thought this, when I look at this team, and this is what we said during the week, even after a loss to Atlanta, I'm like, look, we're starting to run the football, which is key. Today, 277 yards rushing. Holy
ridiculous.
Where was this Irving?
Where's this been, JP?
Well, listen.
Tucker, you've got Bucky Irving. You're without Graham Barton. But, for me, it's the mindset, right? So you take the pressure off Baker Mayfield, who, again, had this 3 interceptions in the second quarter. Is it all his fault? No, but you can't turn over the ball. So, and I was talking to my co-host and Harry the Greek and saying, here's what you do. And your offense is struggling. Baker, again, interception is not his fault. But if you're turning over the ball, what do you do to become a balanced offense? And we've been talking about this ad nauseum in the offseason, the excitement of this offensive line being improved, even without Graham Barton. You run the ball, and the attitude was, once again, to shove it down the Saints' throats and have them take it. And they took it all right. They were wore out in that second half.
Listen, you knew, at least I thought, the second half was going to be the Bucs' time, because you could feel they were running the football. They were throwing the ball where they needed to throw the ball. It just felt to me like they were going to make the offense was going to keep rolling. They were going to make the necessary adjustments on the defensive side. It was a physical football game, and I love the fact that the Bucs did not back down one bit, as we knew that they would try to do. The Saints tried to muck it up and make this, a nasty game. I forget who it was, 46, who tried to take out Yaya Diaby with another cheap shot, helmet to the knee. When the Saints, they're just a dirty team, just like their city. They're dirty on so many levels, and they take cheap shots, and they almost got Yaya Diaby. But I just thought across the board, and you mentioned Graham Barton not being in there. Shout out to Rob Hainsey. Rob Hainsey played his ass off today. That offensive line was tremendous. Liam Cohen, I mean, we saw the different reverses. We're seeing a lot more counter in the run game and a lot less gap. I think we saw this a few weeks ago, where you looked at the numbers, and the gap scheme versus the zone blocking was so dramatic. It was about 6 yards a carry to 1.5 yards a carry. So they finally just got rid of that, and they're letting these offensive linemen be athletes, get out there on the counters, and they're getting angles, creating seams, and it's pretty clear that Bucky Irving and Sean Tucker are just better runners than Rachaad White. I've always been a big Rachaad White fan. I think he's a good player, but he just doesn't have the vision and the burst that Bucky and Sean have, and that's all the difference in the world. If you see where you got to go and you get there quicker, that's, the run game it's about timing, and that hole is there for about a quarter of a second. You got to hit it. You got to hit it hard and get through it. and he's just more of a, Rashad's more of a loper. He's a long strider where Tucker and Bucky Irving they're lower to the ground. They're quicker steps. They're better change of direction. They're just quicker and they're more explosive. And I mean, you just can't ignore that right now. Rashad has a place, but it's not his RB1 anymore, in my opinion. You've got 3 really good backs now. Use them all. Use them to their strengths. And Bucky's just really he's tremendous. And Sean Tucker, listen, that guy had one hell of a college career. And he had the heart issue when he first came out, so he didn't get drafted. And obviously that's been resolved. And that dude can play. And another thing I thought was interesting as you look at this team evolving, right? Look at the draft picks. Zion McCollum, what a fabulous interception that was! Holy hell! He played the
complexion of the game because he gives the Bucs offense short field at that point. Yes,
he played a tremendous game, and if that pass is completed, that tips the field and changes the game. So he leaps up and grabs that ball. What a hell of an interception that was!
Yes,
and I believe that's his first interception, is it not? NFL interception, may or may not. But that was a hell of a play. His 5th round pick. Bucky Irving, 5th round pick. Yeah. Sean Tucker, undrafted free agent.
Yeah.
Yaya Diaby, 3rd round pick. Chris Godwin, 3rd round pick. Tyke Smith, 3rd round pick. I mean, these guys are Pro Bowlers. I mean, they're eventually going to be, some of them, eventually going to be Pro Bowlers. And that you start getting the depth of draft like this. I mean, this is how you build a team. And then you sprinkle in with some good free agents. Hey, Sterling Shepard was on the freaking couch. He made a great contribution today. Ryan Miller. Who the hell's Ryan Miller? Ryan Miller down the sideline.
40 yards.
I mean, yeah. I mean, there's just so many players on this team that just answered the bell, and they got a great flow going. I'm glad Baker didn't get hurt, and he's out there, blocking, doing lead blocking.
31-yard run there by Bucky Irving after the interception, and they get another long run by Tucker. We'll get back to that in a moment because lots of Bucs fans on this show, and of course we're in collaboration with the JP Peterson Show, but they want to talk about it. The phone lines are open. Let's go out to it. What's your name? Where you calling from? You're on the Evolution.
It's Jim.
Hey, what's going on, Jim?
What do you,
Jim? Hey guys. James, it's James, JP.
James.
Oh, James, what's up, brother?
Hey, look, all I know is the second half, Liam did the right things. When he did throw, which was rare, he threw short, to the backs and to Godwin, and Godwin broke tackles. And I've never seen a game like that. It was so impressive. And the other thing is the referees should be ashamed of themselves for how they conducted themselves today. It was the Bucs won. They beat the Saints and they beat the refs. They sent a message to the NFL. Baker is loved by his teammates because of that effort he made on 3rd and 10, which I thought they should have gone for, but I guess they didn't have a quarterback. But anyway, that being said, the referees didn't call the obvious roughing the punter. And, I've never seen a game like this, and I've been following this team since Spurrier was the quarterback in '76. So anyway, great win. Loved it. And to put a 50 burger on the Saints, dirty players, if it was running up the score, which I think they had to run it anyway. So,
sure.
But I'm glad they did it because they went after Bucs players' knees and could have damaged careers. Anyway, great show. Talk to you guys later.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it, James. Appreciate you. Yeah, I mean,
I love seeing the 51 up there.
Sure.
If there's something about a 50 burger, man, that just smacks, and it's the Saints. Take that. Take your 50 burger at home in your own dome, in your Little Caesars dome.
Yes, absolutely.
That's what we call it now, by the way. It's no longer the Caesars dome. It's the Little Caesars.
Little Caesars dome.
Not the great casino.
Not the great
crappy pizza.
No,
it's much better. It's Crappy Pizza Dome.
Okay.
Yeah, Little Caesars.
Little Caesars. But you go back to it. Spencer Rattler in that first half, it looked like he was having his way. Again, did the Bucs help with the turnover situation? No. Was it all on Baker? I'm going to get back to that in a moment because we got Bucs fans that want to talk about it. So let's talk about it. Let's go out to Frankie from Wisconsin. Frankie, welcome.
What's up? How's it going? I got another Bucs win today.
Yes, absolutely. Woo. Yes. So what were your thoughts on the game, buddy?
Well, it was going good. And then I was like, what's going on here? Do we got the Bears coming in and playing for us? Did we forget that we're playing 4 quarters?
Well, that's the thing, and everybody was
points.
freaking out about this, and I get it. The Bucs get off to a good start, but when you turn over the ball, when you have bad special teams, which by the way, the refs missed that. You talked about that on that punt return. It was a low line punt by Carmada. I'm just not sure what happened to this kid, why he's punting so awful. But
it's unbelievable.
Yeah,
it's
he
crazy.
has awful punts today. Once again, it was terrible punt coverage, but it was helped also because you can clearly see the Bucs gunner is being held at that point. The refs clearly missed that call, so that doesn't help. And then again, the turnover situation, when you turn over the ball, which the Bucs were doing a great job of, the last couple of games here, not turning over the ball, Baker not turning over the ball, and you turn over the ball and you give that team those second opportunities, that's what happens. And the Saints are going to take advantage of it. So once again, it was a free fall, 20 unanswered points in that second quarter.
That was scary. 20 unanswered points.
Yes.
And I was on the edge of my wheelchair, kind of nervous.
Yep.
And, then we were coming back. But the only part that got me a little scared in the game, where I was actually really sweating bullets, was when Baker took the hit.
Yeah.
Oh, Baker's down. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Oh, and they're talking about Brandon Kyle. And I was like, no. Bring in Gus Swayze. I want Gus Swayze. I want some Gus Swayze action.
Oh, God. Unfortunately, Baker is Gus Swayze. So, that wasn't going to work.
Frankie, thanks a lot for the call, man. We appreciate
you. By the way, if you haven't seen the Gus Swayze, the Baker Mayfield impersonation that they did, that Omaha Productions did with Eli Manning, have you seen this?
I have seen
dude,
it.
you got it. You got
I've seen it. I've seen a little bit of it. I haven't seen it all, but I've seen
the whole thing. It's outstanding.
Okay.
If you can't love Baker enough, right? Watch this. You'll love him even more.
Well, look, the ill-advised throw there, it looks like he gets tricked by the Saints, and that really opens it up for him because at that point, the Bucs give up a field goal, and then, ill-advised throw gives the Saints the ball there. They go down, they score, and you're like, okay, all right, here we go again. And then, for some unknown reason, one of those drives, also early, the Bucs are picking up penalty after penalty. It's on the offensive line.
So many penalties today.
Yes, and coming into this, JP, they're the least penalized team in the National Football League. So I kind of feel like this is on the crew. And going back to Shepard, like he had
12 penalties for 86 yards.
Yeah, 12 penalties for 86 yards. Ugly day there, especially in the first half. But Shepard clearly gets pushed. Saints are doing dirty things. And, of course, they catch the second guy instead of the first guy. He picks up a 15-yard penalty, also picks up a pass interference. And then, again, you go back to that punt. The refs clearly missed that call, and that changes the complexion of the game. And this is what I kind of screamed about versus the Falcons. But the Bucs, once again, are able to overcome that. And I thought Baker was able to overcome that.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing, Peter, is – how many times have we seen Bucs teams take the hit, right? The Saints come back, take the lead, and then they just turtle. The Bucs I'm talking about. Yeah. And they lose the game. And this is a different team. This is a different team. This is the championship medal team that doesn't get rattled. A lot of young teams will get rattled when that stuff happens. They're like, nope, we got a half of football left. We're the better football team. We know it. We're running the ball. We're throwing the ball. Just keep grinding. Keep grinding, keep doing what we're doing, keep playing physical. And I thought the Bucs out-physicaled them today. The Bucs offensive line was fantastic. They owned the line of scrimmage. Again, 277 yards rushing, 594 total yards to 303. How about that? 12 penalties for 86 yards. Can you imagine what the score would have been without 12 penalties, which I'd say at least 3 of those penalties really hurt the offense in terms of taking away big plays. I think one of the penalties took away a takeaway too, did it not?
Yes, it did.
Took away a takeaway. So, listen, the penalties were bad. And you have that many penalties and that many turnovers, you usually lose the football game. That's how good the Bucs were today. 12 penalties and 3 turnovers. They still won the game 51-27. That's an ass whooping. That is an ass whooping. That's just, you don't win NFL games with that many mistakes unless you're so much better than the other team. And the Bucs are so much better than the other team. And listen, they sit at 4-2. Bucky Irving gets an obvious face mask call against the Falcons, and they win that game too.
Yes.
So many people were upset about the Falcon game, and I'm like, why are you upset?
Yeah.
Your team just played in 110-degree heat, 81 plays by the defense 4 days ago. Okay, now you're going to go on the road on a Thursday night and go play a team that played in a dome the week before and is not traveling. All right, and you went toe-to-toe with the Falcons, a good football team, and you should have won a game without a bad call. And as well, we should have put it away. We should have. Listen, both teams get paid. The Falcons are a good football team, even with all that adversity, all the injuries the Bucs had on Thursday night, all that stuff. They still were one bad call, one missed call, an obvious missed call away from winning that game. Yeah. That's how good this football team is. They should be sitting here 5-1, but I'll take 4-2. 4-2 is fine. With a win over the Lions, which may be the best team in the NFC. I don't know. The Bucs may be the best team in the NFC at this point. They beat the Lions on the road.
Right.
So, this is a great start for this team. Now, here come the Ravens. I didn't check the final score yet on it. Did they win this?
They won that. They won that game. Derrick Henry led the way. That's going to be the challenge there. You coming into that. Kamara didn't really have big time.
Yeah, the Ravens win 30-23 over Washington. Okay.
Yeah. It's a good game, and it's a good challenge next week versus, of course, Lamar Jackson and of course, Derrick Henry. It's going to be a tough defensive matchup, but we talk about it, the injury situation, right? You're without Antoine Winfield Jr. on that Thursday night game. You get him back, makes an instant impact because why? Winfield Jr. is that guy. He is the best safety in the league. Tyke Smith showed up today. I talked about him, asking him that question, who does he emulate? Winfield Jr. He played like that today, all over the place, whether it was tackles, interception later on in the game, causing fumbles. That's what you want from your third-round pick. That's the reason why you draft the guy in the first place out of Georgia. And then going back to it, Cansey coming back, he made an impact today. Braswell made an impact. In fact, later on in that third, fourth quarter, 2 straight sacks there where it's 3rd and 22. And basically the Saints give up at that point. You're not able to do nothing. Again, early in the game, the pressure wasn't getting there. But once again, give credit to where credit is due. Todd Bowles in that second half started to dial up those blitzes and started to treat Rattler as the rookie quarterback he is.
And he combined it with press man coverage, which he didn't do against the Broncos. So this was, I'm not going to say a learning experience for Todd Bowles, but I was glad that he stayed aggressive in the second half and kept blitzing and didn't back off, especially when they got the lead. Like, don't back off. Keep coming after this guy because eventually you're going to get to him and you're going to rattle Spencer Rattler. Right?
Very nice.
You're going to rattle him eventually, and that's what they did. And how many yards rushing they had? I'm going to check this real quick because I'll
give you the numbers here because I got them right in front of me here. 13 carries for 40 yards, and then Rattler had 4 for 27. Anytime you can hold Kamara, who's a weapon, let's face it, this guy can go off and has been a Bucs killer. But once again, Vea, Cansey, the emergence of Logan Hall there, getting after it. We talked about Britt. You didn't hear from him in this game. In fact, he combined on a sack there with Braswell, which is pretty funny. Alabama, Auburn coming together for a sack, and what a sack it was. And you love to see that from Braswell because we talked about JTS. Clearly has an opportunity to take down Rattler. And once again, JTS is not able to finish. I want to see more of Braswell. I want to see more of Jose Ramirez. I understand that Bowles loves JTS, but we've seen it before, and I think we're going to see it again where he's not able to finish. When you have a quarterback, especially when Bowles is calling it, he has him back in coverage. He knows he's going to run the ball, and he whiffs on the tackle.
I think it's, this year it's JTS. Last year it was Devin White. The year before that, it was the left guard. How many times have we just put guys in bad positions or we're playing guys that shouldn't be playing when there's better guys behind them? If that's a criticism, I think that is very valid of Todd Bowles and this organization. They're way too slow to replace guys that are not being productive. You might be able to say the same thing about Rashad White. It's clear Bucky Irving is a much better runner of the football, as is Sean Tucker. Allow these young guys to play. They're better players. It looks like Jamel Dean went down today. So Funderburk, you're up. You're up next. How are they going to make up for that? And listen, I'm not saying I wish any ill will on Jamel Dean at all. He's a good player. He's not played well this year. He's not played well.
No.
He needs to be better. He seems lazy at times out there. His technique has been terrible. His lack of effort at times, in my opinion. Great dude. I love Jamel, but he's not playing to his capability at all. So if he's down for a while and Funderburk has to step up, they love Funderburk. I mean, he got beat for a touchdown today. We saw that.
Sure.
But that's going to happen with some of these young kids. Look, the youth on this football team is tremendous. And then, we haven't even talked about the old man, the OG, the two OGs, Evans and Godwin. Godwin was a monster today. Yes. Godwin was how about that stiff arm? Just get off me, boy. Sat him down. The touchdown run. Oh my God!
55 yards, broken tackle there. Yeah, not
couple
giving
broken
up.
Tackles.
And right, and we talked about it, and in the offseason here, JP, that Chris Godwin, we saw it. There were signs of him getting back to the player he was. He's a guy that will get the ball behind the line of scrimmage, and even Greg Olsen mentions, by the way, I am tired of Greg Olsen because he sounds like a Carolina Panther who was rooting for the Saints today because the announcing was just atrocious along. I don't know what was worse, the officiating in this game or Greg Olsen as an announcer. But he mentioned this when Chris Godwin gets it behind the line of scrimmage, he's able to make things happen. Yeah, the blocking is there, but breaking tackles, that's a huge play for 55 yards. And we've seen it time in and time out. People talk about Mike Evans, and they should because he's definitely a first ballot Hall of Famer. But Chris Godwin, if he went somewhere else, he would be a number one wide receiver with the way he plays and how he gets those yak yards. Talk about Godwin.
He was fantastic. I've always thought he's a top 5 receiver in this league. He's never been given his due. Even when he was coming back from that devastating cheap shot on the knee from the Saints injury, another one. He still put up 1,000 yards. I mean, the dude is unbelievable. And you saw it in camp. I ran to the bookie and said, I'm going over on Godwin on everything season long. Yards, touchdowns, everything. Dude's going to have a monster freaking year. Receptions. He was leading the league at one point in yards. He's probably up there again after today's performance. What it was 11
catches. Yeah, 11 catches, 125 and 2 touchdowns. The early touchdown there where Baker starts out 6 for 6 in the game. It's just unbelievable going back to it with Godwin. I mean, again, just he looks like 2 years ago, Chris Godwin, and you're exactly right. Cheap shot Saints. They put him out of there because at that point, he's about to go, I think he's about to go over 100 receptions that year before he takes that cheap shot. But again, the explosive nature is there, broken tackles, throwing guys, giving guys stiff arms. That's exactly what you want to see out of your second wide receiver. And Evans, besides that first drive, he went out with some type, it looked like a leg injury, hamstring. I'm not a doctor. Don't play one on TV. But he doesn't always do well versus the Saints because you give them credit to either bracket coverage or Lattimore is a guy that can lock him up. So other guys have to step up, and Godwin was the guy that was on the mark today. Open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Curtis, I saw you. Somebody else trying to call in. So you guys try to call in if you want to here.
Godwin's up to over 500 yards receiving now. And that'll be second to Nico Collins probably as the weekend ends, depending on what Jefferson does today. So he'll probably Nico's on the 4-game IR, so he will soon be the leading receiver in the NFL. Chris Godwin, how about that? Yardage.
How about that? Yeah, how about that? If you had him on a fantasy football team today, you definitely were.
And by the way, we've always said it's hard to pay two receivers $20 million. Pay Chris Godwin.
Yeah,
pay him. He ain't slowing down. I want to see Godwin with another 2 or 3 year contract. I don't think it's not going to be in the $35 million range. I think you can probably get him for 20 to 25, somewhere in there. Got to keep him. He's such a huge part of this team, not just only as a weapon, but just as a leader. He's just so good. Love him.
Yep, you definitely got to love him. And Baker Mayfield today, a lot of fans were critical of him, but big third down and 5, had some big.
Who's critical of Baker Mayfield?
Oh, there was plenty. And somebody said, and I saw this on social media, he always throws early interceptions. And I'm like, he went 9 for 9 at that point. And it's an interception where the Saints are trying to disguise it. It looks like he's going to throw in that small window. They got somebody there. The other 2 interceptions are not on Baker. But what you love about Baker is, first and foremost, Todd Bowles and Liam Cohen, they're confident. They don't lose confidence in Baker Mayfield. Maybe before that second half, if you will, when you have timeouts and you have an opportunity and you're down in your own. And you have an opportunity there, maybe put some points and you say, you know what, we're going to be conservative and once again keep those 2 timeouts.
Didn't like that.
I didn't like it either. I didn't like it either.
But I didn't like the going for 2 up 10 points. What are you doing? What kind of math is that?
I don't know. I don't understand that call.
You force them. I mean, you can't assume the 2-point conversion. You force them to go for 2. When you go up 11, you force them to go for 2. And even if they get it, they got to score again. But you take the conventional 11 over 10. You make them so in essence you make them have to get a 2-point conversion there. I just don't get it. I don't get that one at all. You take the 11-point lead. Don't go for 2 there. I thought that was silly.
Yeah,
because then you can get beat.
Sure.
Yeah. That was silly.
It was definitely silly. So Bucs win 51-27 to now move to 4-2. They are in first place at this point. Of course, Atlanta has that tiebreaker over them with that win, but the Bucs have an opportunity after they play this game versus the Ravens to get some revenge, and I think they'll be better off. Luke Gedeke today on that offense line, how much of a difference did he make on that right side for them today? It was good to see him back. I thought there was some pressure by the Saints, but once again, Baker Mayfield showing when he does get that pressure that he's able to step up in that pocket, scramble. Again, not the most athletically gifted, but just gets it done. And what you love about Baker is even though he has all those turnovers that are not all on him, he's still firing the ball. He's still having confidence in his wide receivers, and the team overall, the offensive coaching staff, has confidence in him.
Yeah, I thought Baker was fantastic today. Everything he did. People got to understand. Listen, you're going to throw picks in this league. The Saints played it well. The first one was a bad throw, but I thought Olsen did a great job in explaining how the Saints kind of broke their own rules there in terms of coverages, and they fooled him. And he got, he took a chance and got to pick. All right, good on you. But I'm going to come back and throw 4 touchdown passes on your ass. Baker ran the offense tremendously well. The lead blocker stuff, again, ran the ball well. 2 key runs going over his yardage for running. By the way, here's your. Oh, you can't see it.
Well, what are you showing me here? You showing me your parlays, or you showing me
my parlay? You can't read.
I can't read. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know why you can't see it. Yeah, I can't see anything there. We got Tampa Bay Ray in the background. Tampa Bay Ray, stay patient because I know you want to get on here.
It's have a 765 parlay there. Thank you.
765. How about
Bucky,
that? There you go.
Thank you, Bucky. Over 19.5 rushing or receiving yards, which he didn't get until that last catch. And I gave this one to Ashley too, and she copied it. So she won, I think, over 400 on it. She didn't bet as much as I did, but so we're waiting for Bucky. Everything else is closed. Spencer Rattler over 15.5 rushing yards.
Got that.
Barely got over that one. Yeah, I think he had 27. So I knew he'd run a little bit. Baker over 12.5. Baker over his rushing yards has been a really good one lately. Bucky over 59.5 rushing yards. And over 19.5 receiving yards. So we're late, about 7 minutes, I think, left in the fourth quarter. And we need Bucky on a receiving, and it's like 3rd and 17. And I said, Ash, I said, this is going to be a screen pass to Bucky because they're not going to throw the ball downfield. They got the lead, and he's going to get 15 yards worth of cash. And that's exactly what happened. She looks and she goes, "What? How did you know that?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So with the ball goes.
Well, not only Irving,
Ching,
but Sean Tucker there, 36 yards. And as a
golly.
total complete back, he looks like the guy. He could be the most explosive running back on this team. And listen,
Really good.
It was a mystery last year, and I get it. Not every player is going to develop or transition over to the NFL. You had your heart problems there. Maybe he didn't know it. Fell out of favor with this coaching staff. But this year, came into shape, came in ready, knew the playbook, and he's getting the opportunity. And JP, I got to tell you, man, as far as a guy who he's got to get better with pass protection. But you look at the it factor, catching the ball out of the backfield, running with patience, running with explosive nature. He has all that. Him and Irving. And I'm not ready to, throw White aside. Bucs fans are ready to, get rid of White. I think White can catch the ball out of the backfield. But as far as a running back that's going to run strong to the hole, run outside, be decisive, Tucker today was unbelievable.
He was good. I don't know if he's better than Bucky, but he's good. And he's another weapon, just another weapon to use. Rashad, you can put him in a slot. And I mean, now you got so many guys you got to account for. And don't forget, it's a long season, right? Keeping guys fresh is a good thing. Getting guys, a lot of different guys involved is a really good thing. Keep them fresh. And if somebody does go down, you got somebody right there waiting. So that's all good. But as a play caller, you got to play Tucker and Bucky Irving in the run game. You got to play it. At this point, Rashad gets 5 to 6 carries. Bucky should get 15, and I think Tucker should probably get 10 carries a game, depending on how you're running the football. I think that's how you got to distribute it. You got to, and Liam Cohen, I thought, called a great game today. A lot of misdirection, getting guys open. I think he's really, really good, and so much better than Canales as a offensive coordinator. I think the Bucs are averaging, God, after 51 today, I think they may be over 30 points a game. Over 30 points a game.
This may be the most explosive offense the Bucs have had in their history. It's crazy to say.
Well, that Super Bowl Brady offense was pretty damn good. They averaged like 32 points a game.
Right.
So, but this offense is right there. It's right there, and it's going to get better. I mean, this is only game 6 with Liam Cohen. I mean, think about that. It's only game 6. And here's another thing. Hainsey played well today. If there's a weak link right now, it's at the guard position. And maybe Hainsey plays a little bit of left guard. I know people are saying Barton should play left guard. No, don't mess around with it. Barton's a Pro Bowl center. He's a Pro Bowl center. Those are hard to find. Leave him at center. Hainsey played well today. We've seen him for 2 years. He's not a great center. It's just not. He's not. He played really well today. But I think he's a good offensive lineman. He's a really, really good offensive lineman. And maybe he's better than Bredesen at left guard. Maybe he's better than Cody Mauch at right guard. Yeah. I think he needs to play somewhere on this offensive line. And he'll get a shot. There'll be injuries, right? But I tip of the cap to Hainsey today. And maybe he needs some more time. Maybe he needs some more time out there at the guard position.
Maybe he does. I tell you what, let's go out to the comments and then we'll get you out of here on that. But let's go out to Mr. KR there from YouTube first. And how about that 50 burger on the Saints? Go Bucs. Yeah, absolutely.
Saints and your fans.
Yes, we got a 3-headed monster with, of course, Rashad, Buck, and Tuck here. Go Bucs. Let's go out to Howard. Great team effort. Baker is a cyborg. Again, the guy just keeps on throwing the ball. And you got to love that. No matter how many interceptions he throws today, 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 2 of those not on him. You throw the ball to Jalen McMillan right in his chest. He's got to catch it. Of course, those things happen. But this team, again, is able to overcome that. And Todd Bowles deserves the credit. And the fan base, again, just continues. And you said this yourself. You saw this at halftime. Oh, Todd Bowles' job is on the line. I can't believe this. Like, you got to play the whole game here. I get it. The first half, you're up 17-0. They get paid too. And again, Todd Bowles is able to overcome that, get his team ready, and make the necessary adjustments defensively in the second half to shut down this rookie quarterback in that Saints offense.
Yeah, so. Good job by Tim Haynes. He picked Godwin on his fantasy football team. I twice tried to get Godwin, the guy right before me. I think it was Smoltz, took him. And then I tried to get Evans or Evans on the backside, and he was already went one pick ahead too. I can't put up the comments here. James says this was a huge win. JP, you are 100% right. Most teams with 12 penalties and 3 turnovers lose. Not this team. That's a hell of a thing to overcome because, of course, they got 3 turnovers of their own. So you were even in terms of the turnovers, but still 12 penalties and 3 turnovers. You're going to lose most weeks. They just kept making plays, man, play after play. Who didn't make a big play today? Vita Vea with the sack. Who else had?
We talked about Cansey. We talked about Braswell and
Braswell got a sack.
Yeah, absolutely. You saw Logan Hall a couple of times once again flash, but the impact is with Cansey coming back there, and you hope, knock on wood, that he can stay healthy because that defensive line is different when he's on there on that line getting after it. And I thought it went back to what Todd Bowles, a lot of what he was doing in that first half looked like he was playing zone, playing back. Of course, you lose Jamel Dean. And then once again, you're able to dial it up in that second half, start to have those exotic looks there with blitzes, and you definitely confuse that kid. Going back to Rattler, what did you see from him in that first half? I think he
I thought he was accurate. Right. He moves really well. Just made a couple of bad decisions. The kid looks good. He looks good. I mean, you got Derek Carr. He's a professional. They scored 40 points the first 2 weeks with Derek Carr. I think there's a lot of people in New Orleans that would just rather roll with Spencer Rattler. He's the future for them, quite frankly. I thought he looked a lot better than I thought he would. Now, second half, Bowles got to him. He missed some guys that were open, but that's going to happen. I thought he looked good. I think if I'm the Saints, I feel good about grabbing him in the 5th round. That's if he's your quarterback of the future, so be it.
Yeah.
And the Traskies almost got to see Trasky play. They were like, oh, he's got a football. He's got football. He's warming up. He's warming up. Yeah. Baker's like, nah, sit down, kid.
Yeah.
Sit down.
Even with the hip pointer, he took a helmet on the hip there. I know you got to run, man. It's been an unbelievable week. Great job with the JP Peterson show all week long, having it on there with Hurricane and everything that's going on. Give me some final thoughts here as I get you out of here on that. We get out to Tampa.
Well, first of all, thoughts and prayers going out to all the people that are still dealing without power right now. I hope you guys are watching this on your phones and you're getting a little bit of respite. And you got to watch the Bucs on your phone today, right? And the Bucs gave you a show. And the Lightning gave you a show Friday night too, man. 4-1 win. Kucherov with 4 points, got a Hattie. They look great. So our teams are picking up and hey, shout out to the Gators last night, taking Tennessee to overtime on the road. That was a hell of an effort by the Gators last night. Didn't get the dub, but they played some really good ball these last 3 weeks. I think if you're a Gator fan, you're buoyed a little bit. So I think our teams did a great job this week. I don't know if I'm missing anybody.
USF, man, not so much.
Oh God, I went to that game yesterday here in Orlando, bro.
There was emotion there by Coach Golish and by the players. And for me,
I witnessed that firsthand. I mean, we were sitting in the stands when he went after, I think it was Naquan Wright on the sideline. Good for him. He should have. That kid just walks out of bounds, takes a 3-yard loss and then did it again. I mean, I would have lost my shiz too. That was ridiculous. And you'd like to see that. I mean, I know he's being criticized for that, but by some, then you clearly have never played football or been on a football team. If you're criticizing the coach for that, you don't know what you're talking about. That stuff happens and it needs to happen. You just can't have that stuff. You got to hold guys accountable. I mean, it sucks for the kid. He screwed up, but you got to send a message to your team. That's not going to be tolerated. I mean, you're down, your defense is fighting their ass off. And that Bulls defense showed me something. They gave up quick 14. The rest of the game, they were playing, and their offense wasn't giving them anything. I mean, nothing. Shout out to Nico Grammatica with the 52-yarder.
Third, by the way, third 50-yard field goal. So
how good's that kid going to be? Put him in a Buck uniform.
Yeah.
But listen, I think, that our teams gave us a respite this weekend, and that was great. We missed one show this week. We missed on Wednesday, or was it Thursday? I forget. But we'll be on all week long. We got power here, so we'll be cranking out the shows. 10 to 12, we'll be on tomorrow. I'm going to rewatch this game. That'll be fun. I'm going to get my popcorn ready and go break this one down. And we'll have a lot more insight for you tomorrow, 10 to 12 on the JP Peterson Show. So thanks for having me on, Peter, this evening. If you're going to take some more calls, thanks to all the guys who commented as well. Great win for the Bucs. Great win for the Bucs. 4-2. They're a good football team, man. They're a really, really good football team. Who's the best team in the NFC? The Lions. We beat them on the road. Who else you got? The 49ers? Nah. I mean, the Bucs got a real chance to win the NFC. If they stay healthy and Baker stays healthy, they got a real chance. This could be a really super special season. I might have to go lay another few dollars off the dollars I won today on them to win the Super Bowl. That'd be fun.
Well, and I tell you right now, you definitely feel confident because the offensive firepower that they have on this team, you have an offensive coordinator. Again, nothing against Dave Canales, but it's different. It's a different offense. You have the weapons. You have the running game. I get it. It's just
we're not running the ball up the middle 17 times a game.
No.
It's different. No. It's way different. Yeah. All right, Peter. Thanks, buddy. Great job. Go Bucs.
All right. Yep, go Bucs. Absolutely. Mr. JP Peterson of the JP Peterson Show can be seen and heard here 5 days a week from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Tomorrow, he'll be breaking it down, Bucs fans. He killed it. Open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. This man right here has been waiting patiently. He was out at Ferg's today. He was assessing the damage that Tropicana received. It's been a crazy week for all of us. And I got to tell you, it's encouraging to see how many people are watching this show right now. And, driving Uber and talking to people about how they've lost everything, how they've gone through the devastation, how they don't have power, how they don't have gas. I wish I could do something, but what I can do is I can entertain you here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. So without further ado, let me go ahead. Let's continue to entertain you after the Tampa Bay Buccaneers move to 4-2. They defeat the New Orleans Saints 51-27. Here we go.
Mr. Kennedy!
All right, let's go out to Tampa Bay. Ray Kennedy right there out at Ferg's this morning. Again, assessing the damage at Tropicana Field. It was kind of sad to see that, but it was good to see you this morning, my friend, my compadre, my brother. I'm glad you're safe and sound. You know what's not safe and sound? That Saints defense, as they got gashed by that running game for nearly 300 rushing yards. Welcome to the Evolution in collaboration with the JP Peterson Show.
Brother, thank you. Thanks for all the props there. Yeah, it was a little devastating driving down to St. Pete, down to Central, even here in Seminole. Kid you not, while I was listening to you and JP breaking the game down, our power just came back on. It's going block by block, so we're getting there, but I know there are a lot of
I'm good luck, right? Like, you got to put I got to steal lines from John Gruden. You got to put your sunglasses on because it's so bright here when the Evolution of Sports Talk Television is on. I'm glad your power came on. I'm hoping all the Bucs fans out there have power. If you don't, hopefully you're watching it nearby somewhere with the Wi-Fi. Hopefully you're excited because the Bucs, with all the distractions this week, and on top of it, you're blowing that 17-point lead. I mean, what are you thinking after they blow that lead? Second quarter, disastrous. You give up 20 unanswered points. But Todd Bowles and this Tampa Bay Buccaneer team figure out how to play a complete game in that second half, making those adjustments.
All I kept thinking was, somebody who took Todd Bowles? Who's this new Todd Bowles we have? But then he went ahead and he had that clock management issue later in the game, and I was like, oh yeah, this is still Todd. We're still good. But he's given Liam the keys. He's let Liam have this, and he sees this relationship between Liam Cohen and Baker Mayfield, and one of the most dynamic, if not the most dynamic relationships. You got O'Connell there, and with Sam Darnold, and you got other offensive coordinators, but you've got this thing between Liam and Baker. Liam, like they said on the game there, Liam got Baker's career started again last year when he was basically thrown away from the Panthers to the Rams on a throwaway, and then he got a chance to play and showed he still have it. And I was a little worried there, because there were a couple of times where I was like, okay, we were letting it fly a little too much to let them get them unanswered points there. Really stupid moves when they had it first down on their own 10-yard line. I'm thinking, as much as you don't want to hear it, you'd love to have seen 3 yards in a cloud of dust and give Jake Camarda a great field to punt, because you're talking about the most eclectic or electric kick returner in the league. but they still were able to overcome that. So that's the biggest takeaway from today so far for me, was that this Buccaneers team, offense, defense, now we're here to say they have the ability to overcome, and that's a great thing.
It is a great thing, and again, Todd Bowles deserves the credit for making those adjustments. I know that a lot of people were critical in that first half. Again, the interceptions not all on Baker, but they are what they are. Coming into it again, 4 turnovers total and 5 games. That's what the Bucs team is today. I don't think that's indicative of what they were. And then on top of it, the penalty situation was out of control. I want to go back out to some of these comments because I've been neglecting you. And again, open phone lines. I know we missed some calls there, but we want to truly break down the game. We want to definitely tell you about what we saw. We definitely want to hear from you. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. I missed you guys. It's been a while. I had to evacuate. First time in 46 years of being a Floridian that I had to evacuate. So I know there's a lot of concern out there. I know that there was a lot of stress. I know people are without power. They're still trying to get gas. But once again, I hope this show can bring a smile to your face, because that's what we try to do here. We try to entertain you, educate you, and, of course, engage you with the evolution of sports talk television. And after a Bucs win after that, after that performance, I mean, how can you not be excited? 51 points, nearly over 600 yards, rushing again, 277, just amazing stuff. Let's go back out to the comments here. Christopher Cole, one of our longtime webheads. Appreciate you, my friend. What a rebound after disaster of a second quarter. Marie says, awesome game. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's go out. Sean Tucker, enough said. I know that you're a comparison guy. You're also a historian. You said today it was like WD-40. I'm not ready to make that comparison, but you look at Tucker, who led the way here, 136 yards on 14 carries, also was splendid in the passing game with the 36-yard touchdown. I mean, he's a complete back. And I told you off here, I love Bucky Irving. I love Rachaad White. But I think at the end of the day, Sean Tucker could turn into not only the most complete back, but the most explosive back in that running back room. What do you say?
It's a great problem to have. Rachaad White's out injured today. You got Bucky, you got Tucker. And, the comparison, it seemed like, and I said WD-40, brother, but you and I, we go back and forth all during the game and with just our observations. Of course, we're calling that a pre-show, if you will, to get ready for these things. But it just seemed like Bucky Irving, the Saints wanted so bad to tackle and they couldn't. And then Tucker would get the ball and of course, he ran outside a lot, but the Saints defense seemed to be like, oh, maybe can we have the Bucky guy? Because even though he's shifty, he's a little bit smaller and a little less head of speed, and then Rachaad White coming back from injury, they're all under contract. We can talk about who's one, who's two, who goes out there on the first play, who comes in on a sub on a second play, but at the end of the day, this Buccaneers backfield, pretty good stuff as Liam Cohen continues to instigate and start this running game, and then bury the lead, mixes it with one of the best pass or receiving cores in the entire National Football League.
Yeah, we got some stars out there. Facebook stars are available. I got to get to you guys out there. Of course, YouTube super chats. Appreciate, once again, the love on the content. Gary says, Sean Tucker, enough said. KR, that second quarter was the worst officiating I've ever seen, shaking my head. I agree with you. I go back to the Shepard call there. I don't know what, unnecessary roughness anymore. I thought we were playing football. And He goes out there, I guess he's blocking or he's hitting a guy. It's unnecessary roughness. And then clearly the Saints doing the dirty things. And Bucs fans out there, they say this, F the Saints, because it's exactly the reason why they say that, because they're so dirty. The guy clearly pushes Shepard in the back. Of course, Shepard can't respond, but he does respond. And who gets caught? Shepard gets caught with another 15-yard
Here's the thing. Peter, yes. I'm like, I rewound it, and like JP said, I hadn't had power yet, so I was watching on my phone. I had the speakers set up here, listening to it in stereo. But unless he turned around, and I'm not trying to put words or say actions into Sterling's face, but unless he spit on that guy or completely offended that referee's daughter or wife, I had absolutely positively no idea what that personal foul was. And then they tried to peg the one later on with the block downfield, but it was a behind the line pass. Even if you could call a pick, and I get it. If the receiver had been 1 yard past the line of scrimmage, you can call it a pass interference. But the guy was so far away from the receiver out of the backfield, even if he'd have caught him, he still would have had 95% of the yards he was catching on that play, which I get it. Just because a play is successful doesn't mean there should not be a penalty. But it seemed like, especially in that second quarter, it seemed like I'm thinking to myself, okay, I finally figured it out. This is how the NFL could control games, is just tell the officials, turn on the fouls for one team, turn them off for the other. Because in the second quarter, that was terrible.
All right, I want to go out to the phone lines. I want to hear your situation. I want to hear what you're going through with the hurricane. Also, I want to hear what your thoughts on this Tampa Bay Buccaneer win. Let's go out to one of my favorite web heads. Let's go out to Mr. Curtis. Curtis, welcome to the Evolution in collaboration with the JP Peterson Show. Go, my friend.
JP, what's up, bro?
Well, JP's not here anymore, but you got Ray here, Tampa Bay, Ray Kennedy, of course, and yours truly.
Much better looking, Curtis.
Yeah, well, shut up.
Just
Hold on a minute, Curtis. Caller, we're gonna finish up with Curtis. We're gonna go out to Curtis, and then we'll come back to you. All right, stand by, hold the line here as the phone lines are open. Curtis, go ahead, my friend. Your thoughts. By the way, I want to ask you, how are you doing? Do you have power on? Did you have any damage? Are you good, my friend?
No damage. I was out without power till last night, about 10 o'clock last night.
Okay.
I hope everybody's doing well. I still know people without power, and I'm praying for everybody and their families. I really am.
Absolutely. We're all doing that here on the Evolution.
Let's talk about this roller coaster of a game we had today. Holy shit balls. Excuse my French.
No, that's okay.
Listen, I'm going to tell you something. The only thing I was nervous about is sometimes rookie quarterbacks have very good games against our Buccaneers.
Correct.
And you know what? I know the turnovers helped them a lot, but
well, there were still blown coverages, right? You have a tight end open there, Moreau wide open for 41 yards. I don't know what happened on that. Funderburk looked like he was lost today with giving up the touchdown right away there. Young player. Still, you're having coverage blown. You can't have that. And when you're not getting the consistent pass rush, once again, going back to it, that second half, those adjustments of blitzing, showing exotic looks, and Guy getting there, Cansey getting there, Vea getting there, Braswell showing you why they drafted him in the second round, getting there along with KJ Britt.
I got 5 things. I'm at work, guys, so I'm calling. I'm on the clock. I don't care.
Gotcha,
Number
man.
one.
Gotcha.
Great to see the run game finally alive.
Yeah.
Great to see the run game finally alive. Number 2, when Todd Bowles starts dialing up those blitzes, that is scary.
Yes.
That is terrifying.
Yes.
Number 3, Baker is one hell of a tough SOB.
Let's just say it. Let's go to French. He's a tough son of a bitch, right?
Yeah,
he's tougher. He's tougher than a $2 steak, to steal a line from the great Jim Ross there.
Chris Godwin looks like Godwin again. Oh my God, this guy. Holy, I'm like,
with the stiff arm, with the 55-yard big-time touchdown, that's old-time Chris Godwin running on the sidelines. You got to love that as a Bucs fan. Seeing that.
It was great to see them overcome the turnovers and stick it out for a team win. It really was. Those are my 5 keys to this game right here.
Good stuff, man. Appreciate it.
Great win.
Yes.
You guys take it easy and go Bucs, baby.
Yeah, absolutely. Go Bucs. Go Bucs.
How about them Bucks, baby?
Go Bucs. All right, let's go out to the phone lines. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the Evolution.
How's it going, Peter? This is Trevor. How you doing?
What's going on, Trevor? Your thoughts after your Bucs moved to 4-2? They defeat the Saints 51-27, my friend.
Yes. Well, before I start about that, I just want to say my thoughts and prayers are with everybody down there in the Tampa area. Hurricane Milton. I hope everybody's recovering well, and I hope everybody's doing good. I want to get that out the way.
We appreciate that, man. We really do. We're putting it all together here. There's some people that definitely have lost a lot, but again, our thoughts and prayers are out there, and we're doing our best here to make sure we bring a smile to their face and take their mind off of what a lot of people have gone through here the last 3 weeks, because it's been catastrophic hurricane after catastrophic hurricane, damage, just a lot of people stressed out. And again, we try to bring some normalcy, if you will, to the Evolution.
Absolutely, man. And I trust me, no one is wanting everybody down there to be successful and recover more so than I.
Good,
But,
man. Good stuff. All right, Trevor, what did you see out of this game?
so the game, okay. Great start, like 17-0 in New Orleans.
Yes.
Couldn't ask for a better start.
Right.
Second quarter, I was like, what in the hell is going on?
Right.
You know? But that first interception, that's the only one that I put on Baker.
Right.
That second one, McMillian has to come up with the football. And then that third one, I'll just credit the defensive lineman for getting a hand up and making it a kick.
You know who used to say that? The great David Logan on the radio broadcast. You used to listen to him because he had no home games on. He basically had no Bucs games on. And he always used to say, get your hands up as a defensive lineman. And once again, the defensive lineman's able to get their hands up. Our old friend there, Mr. Cam Jordan, is able to intercept it. I hate seeing him make these plays.
Cam Jordan.
He's a shell, by the way. He's not what he used to be. He's irrelevant, like he said about the Bucs anymore when it comes to defensive plays. But he did make a play on that. And it always goes back to what Logan said. When a defensive lineman gets his hands up, and we know that Baker and that was one of the things, right? The offensive line had to improve in. You saw that last year. You're not sure if that's on the center or not. But the defensive lineman's able to get his hands up. You deflect the ball. Baker, gets it put up in the air. And, of course, Jordan interception. It's disappointing. But is that on Baker? No, it's not on Baker. But, of course, it counts against him. And a lot of people say, oh, here we go with Baker Mayfield. And he made some bad throws today. He could have had a lot more interceptions than he had. But what you like about Mayfield is the old Mayfield would have imploded at that point. And it would have been a complete meltdown. Once again, he's able to come out of that, make plays, make big-time plays down the stretch for this team to win. And listen, this team right now goes where Baker Mayfield goes. Let's not make any mistake about it, Trevor. You agree?
Oh, absolutely. And then as far as that last interception with the defensive lineman, people got to keep in mind that, hey, they're those other players on the field, they're getting paid too, so it's not like there's just a bunch of bums coming off the street playing football. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Except for that one guy who's on the couch 2 weeks ago, and he came in today.
Well, sorry, and then you saw Abram there, the safety. He decided to take a seat or got hurt there, tried to call a timeout, and that was a big play to Godwin across the middle, and the Bucs were able to catch up on that. Speaking of somebody that was sitting down, and I couldn't believe that no Saint on that team was able to see Abram take that timeout. So that was a big play also in the game.
And the thing about it is, Peter, it's right before the 2-minute warning, right? So if they give him the timeout, an injury timeout, it doesn't count against them, and it's an injury timeout. So you're thinking, obviously, the referee in that case was on the neutral side because he can't – you see a player go down, grabs his little – you call a timeout, stops the clock, gives him another timeout there before the half. So that was a big play by that referee to not call that timeout, make somebody call timeout, make somebody recognize and not just be one player who could possibly go, I was actually fine. I was stretching, and Abrams went down, and you saw what happened.
Yeah, you saw what happened. It was a big-time play. Again, there were big-time plays in this game. Godwin had some. Tucker had some. I love the fact Cade Otton had the touchdown there to put the Bucs up by 10, and I get they're going for 2 there. That was a big play on third down where Baker, looks like there's pressure. He scrambles. The safety looks like he's going to come up. And he moves away because Baker's about to scramble, and Baker's able to make that read to Otton, find that touchdown. Otton has had drops in this game, had drops last week. It was good to see that touchdown because that definitely helped out this offense. And once again, when they took that 10-point lead, you kind of felt a lot better at that point.
Peter, can I ask you a question? I'm actually going to ask Trevor this, but
ask
JP mentioned this, and of course during the game, Greg Olson says, I love this new way of thinking, how they go for 2 to put them up by 12, which would be definitively 2 touchdowns. But whereas JP pointed out, you get the 11 up, you make them have to go for 2. Do you think that was strategic planning? Did they just feel like the mood there in NOLA was kind of like all up in the air, personal fouls everywhere? We're just going to go with this to assert our assertiveness. Trevor, did you agree with that, or did you wonder yourself also, like, what are they doing here?
Yeah, I was kind of like, what the hell's going on?
Right.
For me, it's like the defense was starting to gain momentum. The defense was playing well. So to me, it's like just take the extra point and trust your defense in that situation. Because you got to think in the first half, it's not like our defense was playing bad.
Yeah.
They had to deal with a lot of short fields. For the most part, defense was pretty solid out there the entire game, despite giving up, a couple quick scores. And so, to me, defense was playing well enough to say, hey, we can go ahead and kick this extra point and not worry about, some type of, I guess, analytic type of way of thinking. It's like, don't overthink it. Just kick the ball, man, and take the points. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, they didn't do that, but you're exactly right. But it's tough for me to fault Todd Bowles because he gets criticized for being too conservative, right? So you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. You're trying to be aggressive, but at that point, I definitely don't. I don't like the call. Take the points there. At the end of it, I didn't like the second half. Before the second half, they're having 2 timeouts, but I definitely understand it because maybe there was a thought process of, if you get an interception there, you have an interception or turnover, the Saints get, short field position. But we've seen a little bit too much of that conservative nature, if you will, before the half with having, 2 timeouts. Maybe this Bucs team has a chance to work. You run the ball, you let all kinds of time run off the clock, and then you finally call a timeout. It makes no sense. But again, credit to where credit is due in that second half. Bowles making the necessary adjustments, not only defensively, but offensively, and shoving it down the Saints' throats and having to deal with it and not having any answer to stop that running game with Sean Tucker and Bucky Irving there.
Hey, guys, we've been in the NFC South now, for 16 years? Well, 22 years, give or take. 2003. And I'm looking up the scores today. I'm trying to find the all-time, and I see that the Saints lead the series 46-20, which I was surprised because we go back to when the Bucs beat the Saints in their 27th game and got Hank Stram fired there in New Orleans. But I looked it up, and by the mistake, I went back and I opened an Atlanta page, and it said definitively the Atlanta Falcons. Who's the Saints' #1 rival? And they said without a doubt the Atlanta Falcons. And I'm going back to that Hank Stram game back in '77, and I'm going back to the playoffs back in 2020. And I'm going back to some of these now. And we've been in division now for 21 years, 22. And I mean, the Falcons and Saints were ahead of us for many years because the Bucs were trying to find their way like a ship kind of listing in the storm. But in the last at least half decade or at least 6 years, I would have to say definitively that the Saints and then the Falcons are in there too. But the Buccaneers have to be their biggest rivalry.
Yeah, and definitely, and it's an important win here because you got a bad taste in your mouth last year with the Saints, beating the Bucs there at Raymond James Stadium. It's always definitely a rival. It's always a physical game. You saw that physicality today. Thought there was some real cheap shots there. I thought the refs let them get away with a lot of stuff, but overall, the Bucs were able to overcome that. Trevor, what else?
Okay, yeah, I couldn't wait to talk about how well we ran the football, especially in the second half. If there was one criticism of the offense, it's like I felt like we was just trying to throw in the first half.
Correct.
There was some pretty good chunk yards, and we did run the ball in the first half. And I was like, why aren't you running the ball more? You know what I mean? Especially like Mike Evans was kind of banged up, so you could tell he wasn't himself. And so it's like, the running game is working. Like, let's stick with this game plan.
Yeah. And
second half, we just said, screw it, we're just going to shove it down their throat, which brings me to my last point. At this point, there's got to be a controversy at running back. And look, I like Rashad White and everything, and I still think he's a good player.
Yeah.
But at this point, especially the way we ran the ball and he didn't even play today, it makes you wonder, what should we actually do at the running back position going forward? Because today, it looked pretty. We have not ran the ball like that in years.
Yeah.
And it was awesome.
It was.
I forgot how it felt to just say, hey, you can't stop this. We're just going to shove it down your throat, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Nothing you can do about it. You know what's coming, and you can't stop it. And I don't care if the Saints were tired out by the Chiefs on Monday night. They got their asses handed to them, and the Bucs were doing it today with that offensive line and that running game situation. I'll answer your question. You go with the hot hand. If you think Bucky Irving is the hot hand, which he was productive today, and definitely, with his explosive nature and the things he can do in this running game, you go with him. But Sean Tucker, Bucky Irving, if Rashad White is not healthy, which it looks like he's dealing with, a groin injury, and that could be a lingering thing. You go with the hot hand. You go with Tucker. You go with Irving. You continue to run until the wheels fall off. Does that make sense to you?
It does. And then I'll say this and I'm done.
All right.
That play in the third quarter when Bucky Irving broke that long run.
31 yards.
Yes. Yeah, that 31. To me, that broke the game over.
It did?
Like, in my mind, I was like, we're going to win this game today.
Yep.
I know after that play, we're going to win the game.
And you had Baker Mayfield, who took a hip pointer, who's down on the field, who's trying to throw a block. That is your quarterback, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That is your quarterback. That guy is trying to throw a block. Evans, Godwin, I mean, they had a convoy there. I thought Irving was going to go all the way. Some just exciting plays today from that running game with Tucker and Irving. Trevor, appreciate the call. Use that second one. Let me give you the Ric Flair.
Woo!
There you go, my friend. Appreciate you as always, all right?
Yes, sir.
All right, good stuff there. As always, happy victory Sunday afternoon. Happy victory Monday, Bucs fans. Open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. After your Tampa Bay Buccaneers take care of business over the New Orleans Saints in the Big Easy. 51-27. 51 points. Let's go out to the phone lines. What's your name? Where you're calling from? You're on the Evolution.
It's Sarah Hollyball.
What's going on, Sarah? How'd you think of that? First and foremost, what's your situation like right now? Did you lose power? Did you get power back?
We lost power.
Okay.
But we've been helping people left and right.
Okay, good for you.
Got our power back. We gave it to people that were like on dialysis, had medical needs. You know, we shared the wealth of our power, and it was amazing.
Excellent.
Right. We're doing good, though. We watched it, and we saw it all, and as soon as Rattler got rattled, it was over, son. Like, he came in like he was something else, but it wasn't.
Well, especially in that second half, and I go back to that drive where you get back-to-back sacks with Braswell there and Britt coming together, and you got Cansey, who nearly suplexed Kamara there. Good good to know you. Welcome back,
just
Cansey.
Money everywhere.
Yes.
I was like, I couldn't get enough. Like, it was amazing. So we left the half at 23-27, and we ended the game at 51-27. Like, you ain't even coming at us the right way. Like,
27-24, and I know there's a lot of Bucs fans that were sick because you blow a 17-0 lead, but again, you're able to right. You're able to make those adjustments. It's a full game.
Honestly,
yes.
We didn't even see part of it because we were helping people clean up and stuff and like get out of their houses. So like when we tagged in, we were like, "Let's go!
Let's go!" I love it. Let's go! All right. All right.
Are you guys safe and well? Everybody, your family?
We are. We're safe and well. We got electricity. Of course, we got internet. We wouldn't be able to do this show. I think it would be amazing if we didn't have internet.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here, dude.
We love to be here.
Listening to it.
Absolutely.
We love it.
All right.
It was just magical. Magical.
It was. And listen, having that bad taste come out of your mouth from that Thursday night game, having 10 days to think about that, everything that the Tampa Bay area has been through with Hurricane Milton, with Hurricane Helene.
Sarasota went through the eye. It was crazy, bro.
Yep. Absolutely, Sarah. Appreciate the call.
Listen,
as always.
We've been chanting the Tucky, Bucky, Tucky, Bucky, Tucky, Bucky.
Love it. Tucky, Bucky. There you go.
Bucs.
Go Bucs.
Be well, be safe, my fam.
All right. Appreciate you, Sarah. Open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Tucky, Bucky. Do you like
know. Sarah's got it. I like it. It's the best we've done so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Ray, you wanted to say something before
I just want to say, when you're upset, and I didn't want to mean almost it, but when you're up 17-0 and the Saints came marching back, I hate to say it almost had shades of that Monday night Colts game from a few years back where the Bucs were just so in hand, and you're like, they got out to such a quick early lead and they got so flat. And that we've seen that with this Buccaneers team over the last couple of years. There's been a game or two where they've gotten ahead so early and then just got flat, almost like they just went conservative, conservative not to lose. And that's not what you saw today. And I think that's what's going to make the entire rest of this league take notice, is that this Buccaneers team has the talent, they have the depth, they have the quarterback, and they're not going to take their foot off the pedal. And that, my friend, is going to pay dividends.
Definitely going to pay dividends. Zion McCollum has paid dividends. I think JP said it was his first interception. He had an interception versus the Lions, but a tremendous interception there. Looks like he's going to get a return Looks like he's going to fumble the ball, but the refs call him down. Later on, it looked like Tyke Smith caused another fumble, but they called that back. I don't know what the officiating, what was going on today with that, but I want to go out to James here. Bucs beat the Saints and the refs. Baker showed why team loves him. Sean Tucker emerges. Refs should be ashamed for how the game was called. Awesome win. Bowles said at halftime, no more from this rook. Good comment there, James. Appreciate you. Christopher Cole, KR1, definitely agree. Mike almost snatched defeat from the jaws of victory, but Baker and the rest of the offense baked a big dagger to make up for those turnovers. 100 inside the dome there, and going back to it, Baker Mayfield for the day, 24 for 36, 325, 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. And it starts out there 6 for 6 on that first drive, matriculating, if you will, down the field. A old Hank Stram reference with Chris Godwin, a 4-yard pass there. Evans with a 22-yard pass. Looked good. This offense came out. You know, it's not going into a huddle. It seems like, you know, they've got, you know, this rhythm about their offense, especially when they come out. And we know that they struggled a couple of weeks ago with scoring on that first drive. And ever since they've been able to score on that first drive, they've had the momentum. And again, they had that rhythm. They were coming out. They were, and you know, 7-0 at that point. You start to feel good about it. And then Antoine Winfield Jr., Zion makes a big-time tackle, knocks out Olave. Tyke Smith knocking that ball out there. Good thing to the officials letting that play go on, because Antoine Winfield Jr., 58-yard fumble return. I know when you saw that, you know, good to be back. Thanks a lot for coming back there, Antoine Winfield Jr., still the best safety in the game.
Oh, please. And I'll tell you what, I'll go back. You want to talk about momentum or the way this team's moving the ball. There's just my favorite play of the game, and there were many, is the first, I think it was first, maybe it was 2nd and 2, but McMillan goes from left to right in motion, and Baker holds him up and pushes him back to get set there on the left side again. Then he gives the foot motion. Then McMillan goes in motion to the right, only to be a pitch out to Bucky Irving to the left. And the reason why I like that is John McKay, great defenses, trouble finding offenses. Tony Dungy, for years, we kind of had trouble finding an offense. Even with Bruce Arians, 3 yards in a cloud of dust in his running game, why don't you go up there, mano a mano, 11 on 11, we're going to run it down your throat, 3 yards. No, be tricky. If they got guys going right, you go left. They go left, you go right, you go where they're not. This Buccaneers offense, Liam Cohen, the way they're calling this and the way Baker reads it and sees it, the way they're following, they go where they're not. And they're having great success here in 2024 doing just that.
They are doing just that. All right, let's continue to read these comments. So good stuff there, Mike. The Hill Mark, you called in once. You can call in twice there. On the phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Bring your passion. Absolutely, Jeremiah. Everyone, Shadow is here. Welcome, Shadow. Let's go out to James. Saints scored 27 in the second quarter and shut out thereafter. Exactly. White, again, 20 unanswered points. White running back 3 now, says Lucas. So for you, going back to that running back situation, it's a good problem to have, and I know a lot of people are saying it, and I don't know if White is ready to come back. In, you know, a leg injury, a hamstring, or groin, it could be a lingering thing. I still feel like you go with the hot hand, you go with Irving, you go with Sean Tucker, especially if they're getting those yards and they're highly productive as they were today versus the Saints, right?
100%. And Rachaad White was popping up as a team leader coming out of last season and in camp. He was the one, the guy on the, in the videos, and he's a leader. I think you go with the hot hand. I think you tell Rachaad, look, take an extra week. Let's make sure it's right. But you kind of know what's going on here. And Rachaad himself has to agree. You're still going to let that dog eat. You're still going to let him come in and get his time. And then, of course, if he's ready to take it back over again, it's a great problem to have. The less tape they have of Bucky moving down the road, the better it is for the Bucs. They always used to say, especially quarterback, you don't lose your position to an injury. I think it really comes down to the other 51 in that locker room as far as what they believe. If they're behind Rachaad and they realize he was injured, you got to give that kid a chance too, because they may get injured and other guys don't want to lose their job. And again, you don't want to lose this locker room because of something silly. But Peter, if you're not planning on working Bucky Irving into the rotation a lot more, if not starting, then you're foolish as a Buccaneers coach.
All right, let's go back out to the phone lines here. What's your name? Where you're calling from? You're on the Evolution in collaboration with the JP Peterson Show.
Eric Moreno, let's go Bucs at the Saints. Let's go, Peter.
Yeah, let's go, buddy. How do you do this? How do you go? Come on, say it. 3 things. You know it. You love it. You got to have it. Come on, let's go.
Bring the passion. Bring the excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense.
All right, before we get to that, are you safe, my friend? Did you deal with any power loss? Are you getting gas? Are you good, my friend?
Yeah, we got our power back about 18 hours. We lost it about, I don't know, 6:45 Wednesday and got it about 1 o'clock on Thursday.
Good, man. Good stuff. Good. I'm glad you're safe. I'm glad you're calling the Evolution. So what did you see today?
We started out great, 2 touchdowns, and then almost had a third one, go up 17-0, and then I think Baker in the offense, maybe got a little too, they forced it with a McMillan. He should have caught that, and then the punt return, that's unfortunate. But hey, I'm just glad we won. Second, you don't usually see it. The Bucs shut out the Saints in the second half. I don't care who the team is. They're professional ball players. Bucs usually have trouble scoring in the second half. But hey, they scored 24 in the second half and held the Saints to 0 points.
And they ran the ball down the throat of it. And we can't. I just can't continue to say that enough. And I've said it over and over again on this show how dynamic this offense can be. And I want to go full screen on this. The reason why you get excited about this offense and how you become much more balanced and much more dangerous as an NFL football team is when you run the ball, because then the defense has to account for it. And the Bucs were able to do that in tune to 277 rushing yards, which is tremendous. And it takes the pressure off the quarterback. And then
Peter, I'm sorry.
And it opens up the pass play action also.
Hold on one second, guys. Tucker just had a 15-yard touchdown run again. The Bucs are still running there in New Orleans.
He's still running. Nearly ran for, and it's got to kill Dennis Allen, because Dennis Allen is a defensive coach, and he sees his defense just being gashed, and there's just no answer. And it's not like this is not a good defense. It's a good defense. But at the end of the day, at the point of attack, Tampa Bay kicked their friggin' ass. Let's just put it out there. They kicked their friggin' ass.
Yep.
All right.
And
what else?
We get an extra couple of days. Monday Night Football game with the Ravens. It's gonna come down.
Well, listen, you're gonna have the same type of effort, because you're coming home. You're coming home to a crowd. You're high right now with being 4-2. We'll see what happens with the Falcons at this point. But right now you're in first place. So and
go Panthers.
Yeah, well, I don't know if that's going to happen, but
7-7 last night.
17.
What is it now?
22-7. They scored before the half. It was 22-10.
Okay, so it's 22-17 Atlanta or 22-17 Panthers.
22-17 Atlanta. So
okay.
I'm
All right. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. And one more time, Peter.
Yes.
Bring the passion. Bring the excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. Let's go, Bucs.
Let's go, Bucs. Let's go! All right. Thanks a lot for the call, Eric. Appreciate you. As always, open phone line 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Let's go back out to the web heads here. Dave Warner says, go Bucs. Absolutely go Bucs. Let's go! Go Bucs.
How about them Bucs, baby?
Go Bucs. There we go. All right, let's go out to Christopher Cole here. Tyke Smith should have had 2 forced fumbles, but the refs blew it. Heck, the refs were god-awful. I know we've talked about it. What was your analysis on the officiating today? Once again, Cleet Blakeman and his crew just missing calls. I could not believe going back to the punt return there, clearly see a Buck being held by 2 guys, being mugged, and they don't call it.
They were rabbing it, and I'll tell you what, I'll make it short and simple for you, brother. Sterling Sharp, that personal foul. Again, that's just right there.
Not Sharp, yeah.
I'm Sterling Shepard. Well, we're talking Sterling Sharp with Skip Bayless on pardon my thing. But no, the thing is, you go back to that penalty alone. You can take away every other penalty, and there were a few that were just so egregious. Leo Word and a Peter Blake Word. But that one on Sterling Shepard was just ridiculous. He was actually being double manned. He tried to turn out of it. They hit him late. All he did was turn around to the guy, and when the official throws the flag, he looked at the official like, what? And I mean, all of us are sitting there going, what? So, yeah, that was the officiating in a nutshell was inconsistent and inconsistently bad.
Yeah, absolutely. Consistently bad, if you will. Dara Emanuel here, the Green Queen, congratulations to your Philadelphia Eagles winning today. He say congrats on the win. Appreciate you. Let's go out to Tom. Go Bucs. Go Bucs. Let's go out to Christopher Cole. I said after the second quarter to run the friggin' ball. That's exactly what I told my co-host there, Mr. Harry the Greek. I said they got to run the ball, and they were definitely able. And I wonder what the Greek thought about this running attack today.
Well, I tell you what, because the Greek's across the street from me. While I was sitting here talking to you, I see him out there getting prepped. His air came on as well, the power. He said I went over at halftime. I had to bring him the funnel because we've been sharing a funnel for our generators, put gas in it. And I said, hey, what do you think about the first half? And he was excited. He was drooling. He said, I'm going to make a few large positions on the second half of this game. So I'll be really eager when you talk to him, when you guys on the Sports Web, to find out what his positions were and how he did in the second half, because he was drooling, and something tells me he knows what we knew, and that was the Bucs were going to come out on top today.
Yeah, and he said it best. He said run the ball. So, and that's what it came down to today. They were able to do that again, and 277 rushing yards again. Sean Tucker, 14 carries, 136 yards, 1 touchdown. Bucky Irving, 14 carries for 81 yards there. Sterling Shepard with the big-time end-around later on in the game, 4 carries for 31 yards. Just amazing stuff there by this offense. Let's go out to, let's see. Tom says refs did their best to let the Saints win, but the Bucs did what they had to do. Good stuff, Tom. Appreciate it. Dar says good job. Thank you. Christopher Cole, Zion balled out. He's been balling out all year long, and this guy could be a Pro Bowler. His transition, once again, it goes back to what Jason Light did. You move on from Carlton Davis. I like Carlton Davis. He's very talented, but he couldn't stay healthy. And you go with the younger guy, McCollum, and he definitely paid off today and has paid off all season. Looks like a shutdown corner when it comes down to it. Bulls D destroyed the Saints, shut them down. Our secondary caught picks. This was after Jamel Dean leaves the game. Again, Jason Light should be applauded for this team he put together through the draft. Good comment.
Ooh, yeah.
Let's go on to Terry here. Hope Dean is okay. Mike D. Roche there from Canada. Dominant win, shaky second quarter. Agree with that.
Woo!
Let me go out to Sean here. Our defense looks rusty, but I think we should go get Devin White on a prove-it deal. Hope they finally pulls his head out of his ass, but our offense really showed what we can do being a one-dimensional team. Definitely weren't a one-dimensional team. Of course, White released by the Philadelphia Eagles. I put it out there on social media. Was shocked because you know how I feel about this. I'm not a Devin White fan. I don't think the effort was there. Maybe he's being humbled, but I believe you're going to go with what you have at the end of the day. What do you see? How do you see this Devin White situation playing out? Should the Bucs be interested in bringing him back, or you just move on and go with what you have at the end of the day?
If Devin White 2020, the backside pursuit, and maybe in New Orleans is one of that playoff game in playoffs.
Yes.
Maybe that playoff game in New Orleans may have been one of Devin's best games as far as superstar plays, fumble recoveries, returns. But there's 31 other teams out there, and there's at least 20 of them that are thin in the middle linebacker. So I got to believe it. There's another reason why the other 30 teams aren't touching him after Philly releases them. There's probably a reason why, if not for the locker room attitude, there's a reason why the Buccaneers and Jason Light really don't need to bring him in here unless injury concern becomes an issue. He knows the system, but right now I'd say we're good.
Yeah, because he knows the system, and Todd Bowles hasn't definitely ruled it out. But, of course, it comes down to Bowles, and it also comes down to Jason Light. I'm not in favor of it, but who knows? Who knows at the end of it? Deserved win. Glad Baker got himself together. Absolutely.
Ooh, yeah.
And Kimberly, thank you very much for giving stars. Appreciate that. I'd get rid of White. I think he's talking about Rashad White. Again, I know Bucs fans are feeling like this, but, again, injuries happen. You're going to need at least 2 to 3 good running backs, so I'm not ready to turn the page on White. But, again, it's impressive with seeing what Tucker and Irving did today for this Tampa Bay Buccaneer team. Let's go out to James. Tucker couldn't be stopped before anyone says the offense will continue to have dominant run game. Remember, last 3 games, Saints gashed and teams average almost 6 yards a carry. That's a fair point. Get well, Florida. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate that. Kimberly, please say you're joking. I don't know what I was joking about or who was joking. I don't know who that was, Kimberly, but I appreciate the comment or response there. The defense looked different with a lead and sustainable offense. Tristan, thanks a lot for that. Yeah. If you tried to call in, again, open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Good running game we've been waiting for. Let's go, Bucs. Let's go, Bucs.
How about them Bucs, baby?
Let's go out to James here. Liam in the second half ran, and when they threw, which was rare, they threw short passes to their backs, and Godwin, absolutely. Godwin was huge today. Talk about him, because it's good to see him back. I definitely think he's back. 11 catches, 125, 2 touchdowns. We talked about the early one, but the big one there, 55 yards. And that's Godwin breaking a couple tackles, and he's off to the races.
Yeah, I mean, and again, a little love to JP. He talked about it. You talk about having a $20 million, two $20 million receivers, or what this receiver meant to this team. Jason Light knew exactly what he was doing when he kept this Penn State product. This god of a receiver in Chris Godwin, and 100% Chris Godwin is just, he's just, and the Buccaneers, Liam Cohen and them, they gave the entire National Football League notice. We're going to put him back in the slot where he had his best days, and we're going to come out, and they've done exactly that in 2024. And real quick, Peter, to go back to the running, the best thing about this running game is you got Bucky running inside with his jukes to the right and left. You got Tucker going outside. And NFL teams, your next opponent, you're looking at the previous week's tapes to get their what's a team's tendencies. Wait till they start running Bucky on the outside with that speed, and they start running Tucker up in the middle with his size and strength and also his receiving skills. And then Barry to leave, Rashad White comes back healthy. They don't even know where he's going to go. So it's a great problem to have. We don't have to get rid of anybody. We got a great crew here. This 53-man team is ready to roll. Let's just keep on running down the line.
Absolutely. And if we don't know anything about, again, the NFL, you have to have at least 2 to 3 good running backs, and injuries happen. So knock on wood, hopefully it doesn't happen. Let's go out to Eric here. Great win by the Bucs. Absolutely. Ooh, yeah. Let's go out to Lard Edwards. Yes, absolutely, with the muscles.
It's exciting.
It is exciting, Todd Bowles, especially that second half. Yes, JD Feliciano. I'm watching, brother. Peter H. Blake, thank you very much for watching. Yeah. Let's go out to Mike D. Roche. Is it time to sit or move from White? No, I'm not ready to do that. You go with the hot hand. I don't think White is ready to play. But overall, what you saw today, the production, you're definitely going to have to start having that conversation of, not starting White, starting a Tucker, or starting an Irving, especially if you're getting that production from your running game. But I'm not ready to move on or trade. I think there's a lot of fans that are infatuated with moving on from somebody. Keep him on your team. You don't need to trade him. He's got some value, but you don't want other team to get him, and he goes there and he's successful. Keep him, because you never know what injuries are going to happen. Great second half adjustments by Bulls on defense. Good stuff there, Jeremy. Appreciate that. Yeah. Christopher Cole, 7-7 Carolina. We heard the update. What is the update on that score right now between Carolina? Can you give me that update? Carolina and Atlanta, of course, with Atlanta having a difficult time there with the Panthers. While you get that, I'm going to read these comments. Absolutely not. We know what we can do, but just got humbled on being released. So now he has a chip on his shoulder, hopefully coming back, being David's right-hand man again. Play like he did the first couple seasons. You could say that he didn't have anything to do with that amazing Super Bowl run. White gets hungry again, and then KJ is an absolute waste of roster space. Sean, I understand where you're coming from when it comes to White. He may be hungry again, but there's also a reason why he's not on the Philadelphia Eagles, didn't start a game. I don't see him coming back to the Bucs. I get it. He knows the system. I also understand a lot of Bucs fans wanting him back with the injury situation and the loss of Savasier Dennis, because Dennis was definitely playing out of his mind. But I just White absolutely had something to do with that Super Bowl run. Let's make no mistake about it. One of the most dominating performances versus the Saints in that divisional playoff game. If you don't have White, you're not able to beat Drew Brees and the Saints. But the Bucs are able to take care of business today as they move to 4-2, defeating the Saints 51-27. Milo's
update. It's 22-17, but it's early in the third quarter, but it's still 22-17, like Eric was saying. So it's, or Trevor, but yeah, it's still 22-17. But the Panthers are hanging in there, and I mean, the best thing we could do. And I'm not worried about the Falcons, what they do between now and when they come here in 3 weeks for our throwback game. We got flattened by Detroit last year in our throwback game. This year, we're going to dress that place out and get in our creamsicles, and we're going to go in there, and it's going to be a one hell of an NFC South divisional game. So
love it. Let's go out to the phone lines here. What's your name? Where are you calling from here on the Evolution?
Johnny from Tallahassee.
Johnny from Tallahassee. Are you safe? Did you lose power? Did you guys have any damage up there from the previous 2 hurricanes, especially Milton?
No. I mean, the first one we had about a day we lost power, but other than that, everybody was safe up here, and
Good, Johnny.
We did well.
Good, man. Good. So your thoughts on this game today?
Man, just all around makes you nervous when you're sitting there and you're going, oh man, first half of the game, Baker throws 3 interceptions, but you're still kind of, into the half, you're going in 24-7, and it just feels like, yeah, we're gonna make those adjustments coming into the second. And boy, did they make those adjustments that they needed to make, and just the way our defense came out so aggressively. I really have to hand it to our defensive coordinator and just the way that he played defense, all the just the constant pressure that we came in with. Man, it was great. It was really great to be able to watch. I missed the first half of the game. We had some other things come up. My dad passed away today.
Sorry to hear that, my friend. I'm very sorry to hear that. We appreciate you calling in, but I'm sorry to hear that. I hope my thoughts and prayers are out to you and your family. I know how it is to lose a parent, so we appreciate your support as always on this show. But you missed a lot in that first half, man. It was crazy, to say the least.
I did, man. I was able to catch the second half. And it just felt really good on kind of a bad day to come in and just watch the Bucs go in and give a second half butt whooping. That really it perked my day up a lot.
Good, man.
Hey, Johnny, was your dad a Bucs fan?
Stand by, Johnny, really quick. Stand by. Hold that thought. Okay. Caller, we're on with Johnny. We're gonna finish up with him, and then we'll come on to you. Stand by. All right, my friend.
Thank you, sir.
All right, so we'll go back out to Johnny here, and Ray asked the question: was your dad a Bucs fan? Did he make you a Bucs fan?
No, actually, my dad was a big time hunter. He liked to hunt. He was really a football guy.
Okay.
Well, you can't be. I mean, even Green Bay Packer fans, the first day of hunting season, they gave their tickets away because they hunt. That's first. Got to eat first. But Johnny, first of all, I'm so sorry for your loss, brother. Thoughts and prayers. And I'll tell you this: take a moment. It's a day. You're going to be there with your family. You got some thoughts and some things to take care of. But just know that when you do get around to watching this game, you'll get to watch it in replay. The second quarter is going to blow your mind. But again, I'm so sorry for your loss, brother.
Yeah, Johnny.
Thank you, guys.
Yes, sir, man. We appreciate you as always. Use that second call, Johnny from Tallahassee, man. Appreciate that.
Bucs.
Yeah, man. Go Bucs. Let's go! All right. I know somebody was trying to call from Virginia, so we'll go out to them. We got North Carolina, Virginia, Tallahassee, Georgia, all over the place. What's your name? Where you calling from? You're on the Evolution.
Hey, buddy, how you doing, man? This is Corey from Dinwiddie, Virginia. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. The Bucs win today. What are your thoughts?
Oh, man, it was great, buddy. Like y'all were saying, the second quarter wasn't that great, but man, I'm telling you, Bucky Irving, man, he's gonna be the starting running back for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he may listen. He may be. And you saw again, some great plays there. That 31-yard run goes back. I mean, running inside, running outside. They had that little ram pitch to the outside there. He scores another touchdown there after the refs take it off the board. They go right back to him. It's just impressive for a rookie. And he was able. Look. He fumbles the ball last week. The Bucs are confident to go back to him. They go back to him today. Very confident. Sean Tucker. I mean, a lot of people say Sean Tucker should be the starter. Yes. It's a good problem to have. And anytime your running game nearly rushes for 300 yards, you're going to win. You're going to win it more times than not. Whether you turn over the ball or not, if you're able to wear down a defense when the defense knows it's coming and they can't stop it, you wear down that defense, you continue to give them body blow after body blow after body blow, they're done.
Yes. Of course. Yes, sir. And I seen your post-game video after last week, man. You were a little upset, and I was upset. That was just I watched the whole game, man. To give up 500 yards and like you were saying is NFL rigged, and I couldn't get over it, man.
Well, you can't get it. You can't get over it because listen, did the Bucs have nothing but to blame themselves? Yes, that defense, not able to tackle, not able to get after Kirk Cousins enough. You give up way too many yards, but a couple plays here and there. And I go back to it, a clear
Face mask.
Face
Yes, sir.
mask penalty that you have to make that changes the complexion of the game. And if you call that right, the Bucs are at least in field goal range. You're going to put points on the board. We could be looking at the Bucs being 5-1 right now. We really could.
Exactly. And my last question to you about last week's game. Now, it was showing again. It was another team, the same scenario, but they ran out of time. So did Atlanta really run out of time, and they just give them that 1 second to kick the field goal to go into overtime? I don't know. But
they got a penalty. They got a penalty on that. They were fortunate. I thought they were, I don't know what the hell they were doing. I thought they were going to run 10 seconds off. I thought the game was over with, but it wasn't.
Dead ball foul though.
Dead ball foul. Block stop. It was the right call. And if you're the Bucs, you can't allow that to happen either. You can't allow it to get to that point because the momentum at that juncture. We talked about the defense of the Saints. The Bucs defense was gassed with giving up all those yards. But two weeks away, Corey. Knock on wood. This team get healthy. They have an opportunity here to take first place in the South versus the Falcons with some revenge at Raymond James Stadium. We got you covered here on the Sports Web in collaboration with the JP Peterson Show. What else?
Yeah, I got a couple more things. I'm sorry, man. I'm not going to keep you guys long.
No, man. You're good. You're good, man. You're good.
I see that Baker went down with an injury, but I see he was back in the game. And I'm guessing he's good to go for next week. I didn't see what happened.
It looked like he took a helmet to the hip and maybe a hip pointer, but you saw him come right back in. I know there's a lot of Trask fans out there. My co-host there, Mr. Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy, chopping at the bit to get Trask in, but Baker Mayfield did not allow it to happen. He came in. In fact, he came in and tried to block for Bucky Irving on a 31-yard. I mean, I don't know how Bucs fans don't love Mayfield. He's just a throwback. He's like Brett Favre, right? With that gunslinger mentality.
His guy, right?
I mean,
don't forget his draft day. He did the whole Brett Favre thing, laying on the bed, on the phone, the family around. He had friends of his actually impersonate the people. He literally copied Brett Favre's draft day phone call because he worshipped, I don't want to say worship, but he idolized his play after Brett Favre. And I think that one thing, Peter, you just made the best comparison maybe ever. Baker Mayfield is Brett Favre. He may not have the arm to sling 1,000 yards, but he will take it, he will give it, and he will win it. I love it. Great comparison.
And listen, sometimes we always say he needs to live to fight another day. He needs to go down with the sack, but it's a gift and a curse with Mayfield. He's able to scramble. He's able to scale and make plays happen. And that's what makes this offense his. And it's the reason why the locker room loves him. It's the reason why the Tampa Bay area has grown to love him.
I would pose that's why you have a very talented second-string quarterback in case he has to go out for a minute or two just to knock on me. Sorry, go ahead, brother.
Yes. Go ahead, Corey.
No, I just to get a little off the football subject. I know a lot of people in Florida have lost a lot of, it was heartbreaking, man. But Raymond James Stadium, I heard that they didn't take no damage, which is great. And a lot of celebrities are giving back. And Baker, and I saw Baker and Kirk Cousins a few weeks ago. They donated some money, so he's just a real class act, and I've liked him ever since he came into the league from Oklahoma, and that's why I said at the beginning of the year you asked me who was going to be the MVP of this team, and honestly I think it's Baker Mayfield. Yeah, he had a couple interceptions today, but at the end of the day, like you said just a second ago, he's going to scramble. He's going to do whatever it takes for his offense to score. So
that's it. Corey, great call as always, man. We'll give you the macho, man.
Oh, yeah.
Appreciate the call. Use that second one, my friend. We love you here on the Evolution. All right.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, man. Good stuff there. Open phone line 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Let's go out to Milo here. The play calling was excellent today. The execution was very good despite the penalties. It was a ugly day when it came to penalties. Too many offensive penalties there. Procedural and holding and stuff like that. And I get it. You can call it on every play, but you can't have it happen because it does push you back in those situations that you don't necessarily want to be in. Tampa Bay, Ray Kennedy, where you're 1st and 10 and it nullifies a big time play. And then at the end of it, you're 1st and 18. That kills an offense. The Bucs are able to overcome that, but you don't want to do that. I think it's more of it's a combination of things. The Bucs were sloppy today. They did commit some of those penalties, but this crew, they had something to prove today. They wanted to make this a flag game, and they definitely did that because Bucs coming into it were the least penalized team in the National Football League.
Yeah, and I'm not going to expect anything different. When we go to New Orleans, we're playing there in the Little Caesars Dome or whatever they call it. That's good. And JP, or I don't know if it was you, but yeah, that's what New Orleans is.
JP.
Well, that guy gets too much credit. I'm kidding. But when they look across the line at Kalijah Cansey and Vita Vea and the talent on this Buccaneers team, they realize, especially with a Spencer Rattler at quarterback, we got to get this team to get out of their game, and to get them out of their game is to get us to commit personal fouls. Fortunately for the Bucs, it seemed like the Saints were as willing to do the stupid fouls as we were. Even though we had more, it still balanced out, and the Buccaneers still overcame with their play. But yeah, every time you go there, it's going to happen. And I wonder when the Saints come here later this year, what's going to happen. They're probably going to want to do the same thing because we're going to have the same team, and so are they.
That's it. And it's F the Saints Sunday and F the Saints on Victory Monday. There you go. All right. Good stuff there. Milo Jeremiah says Victory Monday. Absolutely. Shooter and Stash. Good stuff there with Vita Vea taking over. Love that. Can't wait to be more a part of that cartoon. Love being a cartoon character. A lot of people say I'm a Looney Tune. So I watched this broadcast here. Shooter, thanks a lot. It's a good game. Go Bucs. Absolutely go Bucs. Let's go! Go Bucs.
How about them Bucs, baby?
Go Bucs. Good stuff. Let's go out to Christopher Cole here. Gus Swayze is epic. Greg, all the way from Costa Rica. Give me the Ric Flair. I will. Woo! There we go. Let's go out to James here. JP, that's why I said 12 wins. This team is so tight. They play for each other. Buxty was very good today. The team can beat anyone. Are you getting that sense? Because we kind of have I've kind of held off on it, but you get excited about the offense and the weapons and the offensive coordinator. And when the running game is doing this and you get back Graham Barton, and again, Hansy did a great job today filling in for him. But when you get this kind of offensive production, it takes the emphasis off your defense. It also hides the fact that you turned over the ball today and you have penalties. It wasn't the prettiest game, but scoring that many points, 51 points is pretty impressive by this offense. And again, you had the touchdown by Antoine Winfield Jr., but impressive to say the least, right?
Yeah, and I said 13-4, 12-5, and it was going to depend on, it wasn't the Philly game at home, and it was a Philly game, and of course the Bucs won that game. Didn't see them losing to Denver, but you're also going to have San Francisco and you're going to have Baltimore. So I mean, right now today, the way this team today played, minus those penalties and those quirky turnovers in the second quarter, any team in the league. Fortunately for Bucs fans, not only are we going to get to see him play the Niners, get to see him play the Ravens, get to see him play the rest of their division, the Falcons and Saints again, as we get ready for the season. Let's get that fourth consecutive NFC South title, and the rest is history. Let's go, baby.
Yeah, let's absolutely go, baby. Let's see here, Christopher Cole. Plus, we didn't have Etienne. Absolutely, you lost Jamel Dean in this game, so some concern. Funderburk, the younger player, lost a couple of times there, but once again, Bowles in the defense able to overcome that. Dean went out early, absolutely. Joshua says, nice win. I was worried we're going to crap the bed. There's a lot of Bucs fans. Again, subscribe to the Sports Web on YouTube. Thank you very much, Miss Courtney Reno. I also want to go out to this right there, the sportsweb.live. Go to that. Apple Podcast, Spotify. We're out there. And we love we love the Facebook stars, and we also love the YouTube super chat. So give to the content as always. So we'll get that off the screen there. We'll continue to take phone calls and read comments. Impressive fashion today by your Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 51-27. And for me, I don't want to get too emotional, but it has been an emotional 2 weeks here for the Tampa Bay area. I love this. I love this for Bucs fans. You guys deserve this. I hope some of you guys get your power back on. If you ever want to inbox me, if you ever want to just text me with, something that's on your mind or you want to vent, I get it. We're all in this, situation together. Some of us had more damage than others. I just want to say I'm here for you guys. I really am. I'm here for you guys, and I appreciate you supporting this show on a daily basis and a weekly basis. I really do.
I'll back you up on that. I'm waiting for FEMA to come out. They're going to put some blue tarp on the roof. We lost the center. It's not a gaping. It's just, it is what it is, and everything else we're cleaning up. But 5.5 hours yesterday online for gas at Sam's Club. About a half an hour this morning, I went over to Raleigh to fill up the gas cans again. Everywhere we've been, Publix and all, walking around, only one time, and that was today, did I hear somebody even honk a horn because somebody had failed to yield the right of way. So, hats, even as we get through this, and we're all getting through this, Tampa Bay strong, Florida strong, but the fact that everyone's working together, everyone kept it intact. It's not that we're veterans to this, although we've seen hurricanes my entire lifetime, like you said, Peter, in 46 years yourself. But hats off to the Tampa Bay and Central Florida, because we work together, and together we'll get through this. Just like together, these Buccaneers are going to continue having success here in 2024.
And I think it goes back to what J.P. Peterson said a couple of weeks ago, right? I mean, it's easy for you to be distracted, but the Bucs come out there with emotion. They're dealing with their own family and their own situations, and they're able to overcome that and kick the hell out of the New Orleans Saints. It never gets boring. I never get tired of saying that. So thank you, Courtney. Great stuff there with all the reels and all the work that you and your father do. We appreciate you. As always here, of course, a part of Amped Up Sports, Leo Haggerty there, and Trace. JTS sucks. I mean, there's times there he doesn't
You had to play
finish.
today. You had a player today.
Dave says we were talking about how good our wide receiver room is, but it's starting to look like a three-headed monster in the backfield. Dave, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
And again, those injuries happen to the wide receiving room, right? So, I mean, you lose McMillan there for a little bit. You're not sure about what the status of Mike Evans. He goes out largely ineffective in this game. Huge win, JP. You're 100% right. Most teams with 12 penalties, 3 turnovers lose. Not this team. Absolutely not. Dave, Godwin is on his way, or somehow, some way, must resign. And I'm just not going to rule it out. I know there's a lot of Bucs fans. This is the last year of Chris Godwin. I'm not ready to rule that out. And anybody who says that Jason Light and, Mike Greenberg and Jacqueline Davidson and John Spytek and that administration over there can't get this done, you have not been watching. You have not been listening. And to me, maybe you're just not a Bucs fan. Maybe you're just a Bucs hater. You just want to say everything is negative and everything is trash. Oh, I told you so. I told you so. They wouldn't get it done. They have gotten these contracts done. And if Godwin earns that, it's going to be a good problem to have. But listen, you got to keep this guy intact here. I always say he could be a number 1 wide receiver. And I always say this to Bucs fans, don't take it for granted what Evans and Godwin have provided, not only on the field, but off the field, being outstanding professionals. Because it's so easy to look at wide receivers around the league and wide receivers in the past and the present to be divas. And both of these players are not that. They're highly productive professionals. And you just need to enjoy the moment and just enjoy it and don't take it for granted. So Dave absolutely may earn a contract extension with Jason Light and his Tampa Bay Buccaneer team. Saints didn't want to tackle. Certainly didn't seem like it. Tim says, I picked Godwin on my fantasy football team. Well, winner, chicken dinner.
Here comes the money.
Let's go out to Dave here. What about the team's cheap shot on Yala? Yaya dove right at his knees. Absolute bull spit, as one announcer would say. If you know him in the Tampa Bay area, agree with that. Tim says the Saints always seem to have problems with all the NFC South teams here. Let's go out to Retrograve Dad. Had to win this after the last game. Hope Panthers can win. Agree with that. Good comment.
Oh, yeah.
Appreciate you tuning in there on YouTube as always. Michael says, go Bucs, go Bucs.
Oh, yeah.
Go Bucs.
How about them Bucks, baby?
Go Bucs. There you go. Let's go. Thank you, Michael, there. And St. Pete. So did we get home? Do we get a home next versus the Saints? Yes, correct, Joshua, since the game was moved. Just what I expected. Luke Gedeke, Tucker, third down back. Let's go out to
Peter,
Jeremiah.
I wanted to address Joshua. It wasn't a moved game. The Bucs were in Tulane since Tuesday.
And I think we've lost Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy there as his internet has gone. So we'll come back to him when we get him back. We'll continue to read the comments and take open phone calls here. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Tampa Bay Ray, I think we're back. So we'll go out to him when he's ready. I think the internet there is giving him problems. It happens. So good stuff there, Christopher Cole. Appreciate the comment. let's go out to Joshua. I'd like to see Baker look off defenders more. Let's see here. I think Ray is back. Ray, are you back? Ray, we got you back. I guess we don't got you back here. All right, so we'll see if we can get him back on. Ray, are you there? I see your hand, Ray. Ray, are you there? Ray? Okay, so Ray is not there. All right, so we'll get back to him in just a moment. Sean Tucker is a third down back, a 3-down back. I think that's what you're saying. Not a third down back, but a 3-down back. Absolutely looks like the total package. David says, when I saw the replay of Baker throwing that block way down the field on that Irving run, I busted up laughing. How can anyone not love Baker Mayfield? Dude is an old school football player with so much passion for the game, great smarts and skills. Great comment, David. Yeah, I mean, that's what I see with him. It's a throwback. It's like Brett Favre all over again, right? The gunslinger mentality, except with, the turnovers. The turnovers weren't all his fault today. He's cut down on them. The offense wants to cut down on them because he can't give those second opportunities, but has the same mentality. He's not a quarterback that's looking for calls. He's not soft as Charmin, right? He's trying to mix it up. And that's why the locker room loves him. And I think that's why a lot of Bucs fans have embraced him as the quarterback for this team, if that makes sense. All right, so let's go out to Joshua here. Winfield with the comeback game touchdown. Dave, Tampa Bay has finally found a quarterback. Who would have thought it was Baker Mayfield? He's already outplaying his contract. Absolutely has performed well this year. And you can definitely make the case, and I still think you make the case, that he could be not only MVP of the Bucs, but if he continues to play the way he does, definitely an MVP candidate. Let's go out to the phone lines. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the Evolution.
It's Johnny from Tallahassee.
All right, Johnny, using that second call. All right, go ahead, my friend.
I just wanted to talk about Baker Mayfield's 3 interceptions. And, if you look in comparison, and I'm not comparing him to Tom Brady, but if you use Tom Brady as an example, because he's one of the greatest in the league to ever play.
Yeah.
You look at his games, he throws 3 interceptions in a game, and it has happened. Even to Tom Brady, it happens. But it's about how he kept his cool afterwards, and that's what the greats do. He didn't allow it to affect the rest of the game. This wasn't a Jameis Winston situation. You start throwing interceptions, and then the rest of your game's going to crap, and you can't focus, and you can't pull it together. To throw those 3 interceptions, for him to pull it together like a pro and come back and pull the game together and play as well as he did in the second half, I mean, that's just saying, that's a big deal. Not to let it go to his head.
It is. It's a big deal. And again, it goes back to old Baker, right? I mean, we've seen Baker and the implosion and the meltdown there, and you didn't see that today. You saw a guy that was confident. Again, it wasn't all his fault. And also, give credit to where credit is due, Liam Cohen. But taking that pressure off of Mayfield with incorporating that run game is so huge, Tampa Bay, Ray Kennedy, right?
Yeah, and I go back to when Baker's in Cleveland. Just look at how fast Cleveland dropped him, and he played through a shoulder injury. Go after Deshaun Watson, which, by the way, today was the first time this season I've been an Eagles fan to see them beat the Browns. But Baker hasn't had the camp in his corner. He realizes his team, everyone's in his corner from Jason Light on down, and it shows because this kid was talented, a Heisman Trophy winner at Oklahoma. He's a phenomenal quarterback. He's been given the chance, and I'll tell you what, 10, 20, 30 years from now, we'll look back at the signing of Baker Mayfield and the time we had him, even on the heels of having a Tom Brady, and we'll look at it as one of the best signings in the history of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Definitely looks good, my friend. It definitely looks good. All right, what else?
And can I say, man, for the Tucker Irving combo, the running game, man, that was great to see. I mean, what did we have? Running yards,
rushing yards. The final statistics here: you had 277 yards, and I believe a total of 594 yards. Bucs fans, as an offense,
270 rushing yards,
77 yards. Up your tailpipe, New Orleans Saints fans and New Orleans Saints defense. Up your tailpipe, right there.
Yeah,
right in your
100%. And if we can keep our running game with Baker Mayfield, the great quarterback that he is, if we can keep our running game running the ball up every team's throat that we go against, and we can keep that running duo doing what they're doing, it's going to make this team a lot more deadlier. We got to be able to have that balance in having the running game. The running game is a big key, and I think that was a big step for the Bucs today.
It is a big step, and you're absolutely right, my friend Johnny from Tallahassee, because it comes down to, and we're looking ahead, and I get it, Bucs fans, one game at a time. Okay, we do some of that, but we also speculate. We have some fun here going to the postseason when the weather changes. If you don't have home field advantage, if you have home field advantage, you have that running game, you have defense. That's what you need at the end of it. Again, takes the pressure off of your quarterback. Johnny, thanks a lot for the call, man. Appreciate you as always. And go Bucs, man. Happy victory Sunday night. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Go Bucs. Love to do that. Open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Impressive fashion, Bucs fans. 51-27 Bucs over the Saints to move to 4-2. Up next, Monday Night Football versus the Baltimore Ravens, Lamar Jackson and King Henry himself, who's been tearing it up. That'll definitely be a challenge for that defense, and we'll see if the Bucs can get even healthier when it comes to Jamel Dean and everybody else. Hopefully they can get everybody back at this point. So we'll see how that works out. Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy back with us. We'll continue to read some of these comments and take your phone calls after the Bucs move to 4-2, again in collaboration with the JP Peterson Show. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Mr. Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy here with his intro.
Mr.
All right, there you go. All right, so we got you on here. So there you go. Dave finally found a quarterback. Cam Decker, nice win today. Bucs fought with pride after the hurricane. Good comment there by Cam.
Oh, yeah.
Peter, man, hope you're safe. Hope you're safe too, Cam. Again, I know there's a lot of Bucs fans have been going through it. My thoughts and prayers are with you with getting your power on, getting gas. Hopefully you didn't have the devastation. And if you did, and you need somebody to talk to and you need somebody to vent, my inbox is always open, and we're always here to talk to you on the sports web. I'm right. Bucs won, and I just got my power back. There you go. See, I'm kind of good luck here, Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy. I'm starting to subscribe to this theory that maybe you guys just need to tune into the sports web because everything is going to be all right, and we're going to get through this together. That's what we do as Bucs Nation. We get through this stuff together. We'll be here for you when we can. Joshua says Tampa Bay. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Ralph Williams there in Pittsburgh. It's good to see you guys back here. It's good to be back here, my friend. We missed you on Wednesday night. It's been a crazy 2 weeks. It has, but guess what? Hopefully, according to our good friend there, Mr. Dennis Phillips, the tropics, we turned the page here. We turned the page to fall. My favorite season here. Halloween is upon us here in a couple weeks, and hopefully these hurricanes or dress up as a ghost, if you will, and disappear. So thanks a lot, Courtney. Hope you're good. I know you've had some friends out there. I know you've had some devastation. So thoughts and prayers out to you. Cam says, Peter, do you think they will get more players back from injury on the defensive side soon? Absolutely. I mean, they got Antoine Winfield Jr. You saw that impact. Jamel Dean goes out in this game. So that's a big loss with Thunderberg there. But once again, they're able to pull it out. No big-time injuries. Did you see any big-time injuries in this game? I know Baker was kind of shaken up. Mike Evans went out of this game. Some concern there. Hopefully it's not a hamstring situation. He's never great against the Saints when it comes down to it. He never is. They find a way, and that's the reason why it's so beneficial to have Chris Godwin on that other side.
And then Jamel Dean, I mean, he got bent backwards, right? And so he limped to the side. I mean, if it's a severe enough injury, they're going to cart him. They're going to be more careful with him. They let him limp to the side. It seemed like it was more of a strain or a pull than any kind of thing. I guess we'll have to see what they say after the tests come back. But that was a big one. And then Yaya, when he went out, I was like, whoa, what's going on here? But we had an extra few days to get ready for this game. Now we have a home cooking next Monday night versus the Baltimore Ravens. So I mean, things are falling in our way. I mean, you still have to get lucky. You still have to stay healthy, and you still have to beat the other team. But at least things are falling the Buccaneers way, and as Buccaneer fans, that's all we can ask for.
That's it. And you get Graham Barton back. And again, Hansey did an unbelievable job at the center position there. I think Cole has given stars, so I appreciate that. Facebook stars are always available along with YouTube Super Chats. We appreciate that. Isabella says, big time win. Absolutely,
Ooh,
Isabella.
yeah.
Let's go out to Christopher Cole.
You know
I got
what's funny,
power
Peter?
back yesterday. Yes.
I'm just going to mention, no, I'm sorry, but go back to when Hainsey, they almost got him for the ineligible downfield, but it was behind the pass. It was close, but it was still a backward pass. But it's funny because they almost had Graham Barton, a few weeks back on it down the field, which only serves to show you the consistency with which his offensive line practices and gets cohesive together, and the way this Liam Cohen offense is called. Both centers. Both tried to get him for ineligible man downfield, and both were no calls because they were good, solid, fundamental plays. That's also a great sign. So, as a Bucs fan, you like to see that with your offensive line, the consistency with which they play, even interchanging pieces.
Absolutely. Good point. Let's go out to Christopher Cole. I got my power back yesterday around 5 p.m. Good for you, my friend. Let's go out to Cole here. We needed this as a community. Absolutely. What a big time win for the community. And again, this show, hopefully it brings a smile to your face and takes your mind off of whatever you're going through. I don't know. I don't act like I know what's going on, but I know I've heard a lot of stories this week just on social media and Facebook and just also driving Uber and listening to people. And sometimes, you know what? It's good just to listen and not talk. And I'm a big time talker, and I do this for a living to talk. But it's also good to be a communicator, is to listen to somebody, because sometimes people just want to talk to you and you just listen. All right, next Bucs Saints game going to be later on in the year. We'll get that exact date. How good is this defensive line now with Vita and Cansey playing together? Oh, my goodness. You saw today how much of an impact Mr. Cansey made on this line.
Oh.
Welcome back, Kalijah Cansey, right?
Just like he never left. And I mean, first time this season. And we talked about coming into this season, what it meant to have a healthy Kalijah Cansey playing again with Vita. Get him back today. Great to see him back, and like he didn't miss a beat as far as the defense is still working together. And I'm going to go back to J.P. Peterson again, because he talked about what the Buccaneers offense is averaging this year. And I went ahead and I was doing the math while I was in the lobby, and yeah, it's just under 31 points a game over the first 6 weeks. So Bucs fans, how do you feel about a Buccaneers team that's averaging 31 points a game, still playing with this defense at 4-2, getting ready to take over the NFC South? Things are pretty good.
Right, with all the injuries they've had, and now they're going to get healthy, and now they're going to be that much better. So absolutely. Let's go out to Trevor. A call before. We played like trash in the second quarter, but credit to the team for cleaning things up in the second half. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's go out to Dave here. Some of the penalties on Shepard were BS. Agree with you on that. Courtney says New Orleans, Louisiana. Michael Hulk, just checking in. Pete, great game, although second quarter was terrible. Glad to see some of the composure come back in the second half. Good comment there.
Yeah.
Let me go ahead and give you a Ric Flair. Woo! Because we got Facebook stars, baby. Love it. Thank you very much, Michael, for giving Facebook stars. Let's go out to Joshua here. Should have just switched, but that's what I figured. 2 home games for the Saints. Who dey? Not dem Saints. The Bucs are dey. They are.
Yeah.
Let's go out to Michael here. Glad to see the Sports Web crew is standing today. Prayers to Florida. Absolutely, Michael. Appreciate you, as always, the great support. One of my favorite web heads out there with all of you guys. Coming in here, supporting this on Facebook, supporting this on Instagram Live. We have some great comments out there on Instagram Live. Let me get to that really quick. 11-5 initiative. Congrats on the win. Appreciate you tuning in. Let's see. I'm trying to read this one. The officiating was trash. Catting my, camera bag, I guess. Thank you very much. And the petite goddess right there. Nice win. Thank you very much for tuning in to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. Again, like and subscribe to the Sports Web on YouTube. Friend me on Facebook at Peter H. Blake. Instagram Live, Twitter, all that stuff out there. Like and follow and talk to me. Whatever you guys want to talk about, we'll definitely do that here on this show. Is it safe to say that we're drafting secondary this upcoming draft, no matter what the outcome of the season is? Definitely possible that you got to get better in that situation, especially with the inconsistencies of Jamel Dean. I think he's a talented player, but he's been too far inconsistent, and on top of it, now he's injured. So maybe they may move on, but not ready to go there yet, but it's certainly a possibility. F Cam Jordan, agree with that.
Yeah.
That's a great comment. Maybe the comment of the night there. Irvin needs to stay, keep him playing, keep him earning. He deserves it. James, see, Mike Evans was a little off today. Was he injured? Looked like he had some type of leg injury. I mean, what did you see with Mike Evans? Comes out in that first drive. They get the ball to him. That's been the emphasis here the last couple of weeks. You get Mike Evans involved so you don't forget about him. You feed him. But when he took that, it looked like he was hobbled on something with his leg there, maybe a hamstring. He's had those hamstring situations. What did you see from Evans today? And I think Ray is.
No,
yeah,
I'm sorry. And that's what they were alluding to on the telecast. And when they said hamstring, I'm like, yeah, we've seen that with Mike before. But I tell you what, the fact that very first pass completion of the game was to Mike across the middle just seemed to like set the tone from the very first pass. It was just like, okay, this is how it's going to go. You may have Marshawn, you may be trying to get, and then they ended up, they got nasty with us and got personal fouls left and right, and they want to make it a street fight because they weren't going to beat us straight up, talent to talent. But Mike and his hamstring, that's something to watch out for. You definitely want to take it easy with that because, it's going on week 7 coming up now, or week 8, and or week 7, and we're not trying to win the Super Bowl in October. So definitely want to watch out what's going on with that. And Mike, because of his previous hamstring issues over the years, usually earlier in camp or in the preseason, let him take a second. Still want to get that 11,000-yard season, but let's just pump the brakes a little bit and make sure we take care of business, and that the business is staying healthy for the run. And the run's going to start here in November, December, although it's actually already started now.
Well, you're going to definitely need Mike Evans there. Again, his final statistics for the day there, 2 catches for 34 yards, and 2 of those were on the first drive. And then after that, it seemed like he came up a little bit hobbled there, was not a factor in this game. Let's go out to Daniel here. Refs were awful today. Again, both teams, running backs look good. I'm glad we got to see more of Tucker. I like what I saw of him in preseason. He didn't disappoint today. Evans was pretty much a no-show. We all saw Godwin like the second half defensive adjustments. Also like that we picked up first downs when we needed them late in the game, unlike the last 2 losses, which is critical, right? Because you look at the statistics here when it comes to a third down conversions here, 6 for 10, 60%. And I believe coming into the game, the Bucs are like 7th. I mean, that's going to win. That's going to win you because when you extend those drives, you have the opportunity, of course, to score touchdowns. You go 6 for 10 today. That's impressive. 60%. You'll take that all day long.
Yeah, I mean, running outside, running where they're not, keeping them on their heels. That's exactly what you're seeing with this Bucs offense. They're picking up first downs, and man, does it take the air out of the defense quick. And especially there in New Orleans today. I'm sure Jordan was telling the guys, look, we got this. It's going to be a street fight. And then the Bucs were just having their way. And even with that, I mean, I've never seen a Bucs game, in I'm sure there has been, but in team history, I can remember that we can never say, okay, so the Bucs, the most points in the first half between, this season, the NFL tied. Never seen a Bucs team give up that many points and have that many mistakes in the second quarter and still even be in it, let alone victorious in the fourth on the road at New Orleans. Just fantastic.
Fantastic. Russ here. Let's go out to him. I wanted to be critical early on. Baker missing some open targets down the field. Bowles playing zone, giving up the underneath. But that second half, I would have loved to see that locker room. They made the adjustments. Todd looked genius with the D. Baker was slinging it. Big yards on the ground. They looked like a serious contender playing like that. Absolutely spot on, Russ. And I think they can beat anybody. And listen, any team on any given Sunday can beat anybody. You don't come out with the effort. You get your doors blown off. We saw that versus the Denver Broncos. When you have that effort, you play your game, and you become balanced. You become that dynamic on offense. You can beat anybody. They have the talent to beat anybody. They do. They have it. Anybody says they don't, they're not watching. Say it again. We kick their asses. Let's go. Yes, and Todd Bowles was excited. He is excited.
I'd like to have been in that locker room, though. I would have liked to have been in that locker room. I'd like to know if Mike Evans had stepped up and said, look, you guys know the history of me and Lattimore, or was it Coach Bowles? Did Jason Light step in there himself and tell guys they weren't going to get checks on Tuesday if they didn't show up? Because something happened in that in the halftime, and this team's been a good adjustments team in 2024, but that something happened in that halftime where they came out in the second and third quarter. It was a completely different game, and that's exactly what Bucs fans, I'm sure I was hoping to see after that second quarter today there in New Orleans.
All right, next week, regardless injuries, running back 1, Bucky Irving says game on. Running back 1A, Tucker Running back 1A and or 3 for White. Game on again next week. Okay, so I got that. Thank you very much for the comment.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go out to Russ. Godwin looked great today. Mixed emotions on Devin. I think there's a lot of mixed emotions. I was surprised by how many fans wanted him back, but I understand the struggles of Britt in this linebacking room that's been once again besieged. Leo word by injuries, especially. Thank you very much. I'm a wordsmith today. Savasier Dennis. A huge win by the Bucs and the whole state of Florida. Agree with you, Russ. Detroit is killing Dallas right now, 34-6. How about those Cowboys? By the way, I believe there's a big-time injury there. You have to update this. Aiden Hutchinson goes out with a leg injury as Ruth decides to join the broadcast. So we'll watch and see how that plays out. Atlanta up 25-17. As Ray, it looks like you're frozen. Again, I don't know what's with your internet. Isaac S. We need Devin White back to help Levante and Winfield Jr. Isaac again. KJ Britt is not cutting it. Agree with you. Did have a sack today. Still in the middle of the field. It has been opened up. That's why we need Devin White back. If Devin White was playing against Atlanta, we would have won. I'm not ready to say that. Love Baker. Absolutely love Baker.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go out to Michael here. Hit to Baker. Looks like he may have wind knocked out of him. Baker is strong. I love his willingness to play. Get your win back. Get out there, shake and bake. You'll be my best friend for life. And also, as he would say, get your weight up, boy. I love that. Let's go out to Durf Meister. Great game for the Bucs. I got annoyed at the naysayers that bash Coach B. Shut up. Enjoy the ride because it's going to be awesome. Great comment. And I agree, and I get it. You know, Bucs fans sometimes are pessimistic. They've been there. We've been there before with blown leads and this and that, but it's not always the sky is falling. They get paid too. Should it happen? Should you have that type of second quarter? Of course not. But that's the reason why you play a whole game. It's not just 2 quarters. You play a whole 4 quarters. The Bucs figured that out today in dominating fashion. Let's go out to Russ. 25-20. Atlanta. Dalton can't see anyone downfield.
Wow.
Lisi says, nice win. Nice. Thank you very much for tuning in.
Yeah.
Let's go out to Jeff here. Irving and Tucker earned more reps today. Love the way they run the ball. I like White as a receiver, but he doesn't seem to have that quick ability to find and hit the hole. Is that what you see there? Going back to Jeff here with White. Is that I see him more as a better catching back. I know he's had some long runs, not enough. A lot of fans are saying go with Irving, go with Tucker. I say go with the hot hand, especially if White isn't fully healthy at this point. What do you see from White?
The success the Bucs offense has been having lately, Bucky, he seems to want to run to the left. He'll somehow go up to 1 hole and just do a right juke, and he ends up in the 7 or in the 8 hole. He goes from 1 to he goes that fast. And then Tucker's the change of pace, if you will. Rachaad White, #1 receiver at Arizona State. The guy's a phenomenal receiver out of the backfield, and he's also a strong downhill runner, but he's not shifty like Bucky. And you made that reference, Pete, back in preseason when you were running. You were the first person, in fact, that was really pushing Bucky Irving to me. You'd seen him at camp, you and J.P. Peterson on a J.P. Peterson show. You guys saw what they had there. But that Jeff comment was the #1. They earned more reps today, 100%, but nobody lost any positions today. There may be a starter 1, starter 2, and I bet you Rachaad White would be the last to tell you if he's going to have success and the ultimate prize is getting that Lombardi trophy. He's fine with whomever's playing. He's still got this team. He's going to show that he's a great runner. So, I mean, I think that Bucky and Tucker earned more plays today. Nobody lost their position or gained a position today, but then again, I'm not the coach of the Buccaneers or the offensive coordinator, and I did not sleep at a Holiday Inn last night, so I don't want to say I know everything. I just don't think Rachaad White lost his job. Bucky and Tucker definitely earned more reps.
I will say this, though. It definitely, if White continues and he struggled in this run game, whether it's the offensive line or not, and Irving and Tucker have been, again, the hot hand, you got to go with them. You got to make those decisions for your team going forward. So we'll see how it plays out. You got a week here until Monday Night Football happens. Enjoy the win. Michael says Russ Vaughn Devin will be signed by Wednesday. So Michael thinks he'll be signed. Bucs are too inconsistent to compete in the playoff. See, Gary, I don't think they're too inconsistent. I definitely think they can compete. I know what you're saying. It's the regular season. This team has the experience. They can go in the postseason, especially with all the dynamic weapons. I think they can definitely do some damage in the playoffs.
Playoffs?
Yeah, playoffs. And they could definitely get to the NFC Championship game, and who knows? The sky is the limit. I understand your concerns there, Gary, about the inconsistencies, but they're able to pull off wins, especially on the road versus Detroit being banged up. They should have won versus Atlanta. They're a couple plays away from being 5-1. Aiden Hutchinson carted off the field. That is a major injury for the Lions.
Wow.
It looks like a gruesome injury. That's their pass rush. You lose him, and again, you start to say the NFC now, if it wasn't wide open before, it's definitely wide open now. So thanks a lot for the update there, Ben.
Yeah.
Let's go out to Russ Vaughn. 28-20, Atlanta over the Carolina Panthers. Russ, Michael, I don't think that's a bad thing. Lucas says that win against the Lions could be huge at the end of the season. Absolutely. All these wins, especially versus the NFC, because then you have the tiebreaker. And at the end of it, you're playing for positioning. You want that home playoff game. You need that home playoff game for the Bucs. So absolutely huge. You know I'm right. I like the Dallas Cowboys that are getting wrecked. I think there's a lot of fans out there, a lot of football fans that love the fact that Dallas is getting wrecked.
Don't forget, you got
Shut up!
Yes.
You got Dak Prescott at $55 million a year. You got Deshaun Watson making $100 bazillion a year in a guaranteed contract. Two of the teams with the highest paid quarterbacks, and here we are sitting with little Baker Mayfield at 33 and a third for 3 years, and we are owning it. Talk about selfless. Talk about a team full of players with team first attitudes. That's what being a Buccaneers about.
Absolutely. All right. So good stuff there. You know I'm right. Michael Hulk says, Peter and Ray, where do you see the Bucs the rest of the season going record? I've said 11-6. I say 11-6 for this team. Who knows? They could have even more wins. They could have had even more. They could be, again, 5-1 if some things go right. But I like the chances of this team simply because their offense is going to get that much better. They're also going to get healthy. And once again, this offense goes to where Baker Mayfield goes. You know you have those constant factors in Evans and Godwin. Now, if you have that running game, wow, look out.
Here we go. And it's going to be a test against Baltimore Monday night because you want to keep the ball out of Lamar Jackson's hands. You don't want to let Derrick Henry get running downfield on you. You're going to have to control the ball. This is a good matchup for the Bucs. So after a big win today, it's like next Monday night, let's sit back. Today went from a rocking chair game to a sit on the edge of your seat game, and then it went back to catbird seat game. Monday night, all eyes are going to be tuned in from live from Raymond James against the Ravens. Probably going to be one of the best matchups. I'm a Bucs fan, so I'm a little partial, but for me, one of the best matchups I've seen so far this year.
And we got you covered on the post-game show live from Raymond James Stadium on the field, taking your phone calls, reading your comments with the great JP Peterson. Also, maybe TJ Reeves of the Buccaneer Radio Network. He sneaks on. You just never know. JC Allen of Sports Illustrated. He comes on, so you just never know. Touchdown on the first drive. LFG. Let's go! Russ says Detroit up 40-9. Thanks a lot, Dallas, for playing today.
This guy sucks.
Bring your playbook, and that's about it for you. And we should have beat ATL with the last comment. Any comments there from Instagram Live? Give me some final thoughts here. Tampa Bay, Ray Kennedy, best of the Bay after the Bucs absolutely destroy the Saints 51-27.
Okay, brother, I'll try to make it short here, but again, thoughts and prayers to us, to everybody here, not just in West Central Florida, but anybody affected by these types of disasters. Just great to see the community effort come together. Yeah, today was a big win. I'm not even sure where we'd be if it'd been a loss. We don't have to go there. Hope everybody continues to get better, get to a better place. We got a ways to go. I'm sure you all do. Peter, thanks for having me today. Great victory today. Just love the way this team's playing together in 2024 with a new offensive coordinator who happened to spend a cup of coffee last year out in LA with Baker Mayfield. 2 years, but love where this team's going and love the fact that they're playing together as a team. And even with a divisional game at New Orleans, which how many times have we've come away from a game there with a sour taste in our mouth. And then today it was a great taste. Love the fact that they overcame, played as a team. Let's stick around for the injuries and get ready for Monday night against the Baltimore Ravens, brother. Thanks for having me. As always, great time with you.
Absolutely. Always a great time. Tampa Bay, Ray Kennedy, best of the Bay. We'll see you soon here on the Evolution. All right.
Take care, brother.
All right. Take care. Absolutely. Take care, my friend, because we have all been through it this week and we've all gotten through it and we will get through it as Bucs Nation, as we always do. So we'll wrap it up there. Phone lines are open, but I think we're going to wrap it up, go out, drive some Uber here, try to make some extra money. Just to recap the game, the Bucs get up 17-0. Then they're down at halftime, 27-24, and come roaring back in the second half in tune of 277 rushing yards here by this team led by Sean Tucker, 14 carries for 136, 1 touchdown. Bucky Irving, 14 carries, 81 yards. Baker Mayfield, say whatever you want to with the 3 interceptions, but still 4 touchdowns, 325. Defense showing up, a total team win. It wasn't pretty at times with the penalty situation. Hell, it hasn't been pretty the last 2 weeks, but again, we get through it together. Continue to tune in to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. Like and subscribe to the Sports Web on YouTube. Friend me on Facebook at Peter H. Blake. And just know, like I said at the beginning of the broadcast, in the middle of the broadcast, if you're going through something, I'm here for you. My inbox is here. My thoughts and prayers are out to the people. I hope you get your power back. I hope that you didn't have too much devastation. We'll try to be here in a time of need. 3 things. You know them, you love them, you got to have them on a Victory Sunday night and a Victory Monday. We always love that. Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. I'm your host, Peter Blake, your Rolex reporter. What time is it? It's my time. And for fans of the Sports Web, the Tampa Bay sports fan, and the Tampa Bay area, once again, thoughts and prayers. We'll get through this together. Bucs win 51-27 over the New Orleans Saints as they kick their ass today. Guys, we'll see you soon on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. Have a great night. Be safe, and we'll see you soon.